Good morning and welcome to today's live show. Make sure to tune into the last... Oop. Hey guys, chill out. Make sure to tune into the last 15 minutes of the stream so you can get a breakdown of all the stocks that we cover on this channel. We are not going to be watching AMC and GME all day today. We'll click on it a few times, but I'm not going to click over to it, 1,000 times during the stream. But there will be times where we point it out and we'll give you the levels to pay attention to for this stock. Remember that implied volatility is going insane here. And it's pretty much as long as by Friday close, AMC does not close below $3, and this is going to be a good thing for AMC. That's the levels that I am looking into. But we need to see what happened with that data. So let's go switch over to the SPY. Okay, we're going to switch over to the SPY. And what are we noticing? A big gap up happening today. Very, very interesting to see this. And this is why I was like, yeah, I'm not going to short anything. Now that I'm like, okay, this data this week is going to be definitely rigged. And I just wanted to show you that data real quick. What are we noticing? The core inflation rate month over month coming in at 0.3. Previous 0.4, it came in right as expected, which is what I said earlier on. I was like, I'm really leaning towards PPI coming in hot and then CPI coming in a little bit more tamed. And that's actually what is happening here. And weirdly enough, notice that because this is a good print, we get no revision. That was the big problem with yesterday. Yesterday's PPI, the revisions is really what confused people and kept the market higher at higher levels and able to wait for CPI to come out. So really, we did not get the pullback that I believe was necessary, and now we are going to continue to squeeze. So even on the 30-minute chart now, I would not read too much into divergences at this point. If we keep seeing that rapid up movement, where can we target? Well, on the daily scale, we do gravitate towards our daily expected moves. Remember, this is what is priced in from the options market. And if you were confused about what those AMC numbers, those big AMC numbers were, that's pretty much what these are. Okay, so by the end of the month, that's what the options market is priced in. Now, they don't have to go this high, right? We can see this fade and things like that. But a lot of the times when you do gravitate, especially towards a weekly, because the weekly's here as well, you'll gravitate towards that weekly expected move, which happens to be right where that daily expected move is. So I would really assume that, I don't know if there's going to be a struggle here. Well, obviously, we'll be paying attention to it. But as of right now, we're seeing that head higher, and I would really start to think that that 529.03, that 528.69, that 529 level going to be very, very important for the SPY today. Something I want you to point out, or I wanted to point out this morning, was the daily side is not overextended. The daily side is not even overbought yet, and now we're riding this 5-day up. So this is still in a squeeze. People, stalled out for that data, but the sellers did not show up fully. Probably because of the confusion with the PPI. And what are we noticing? Positive territory, curling up on this MACD, still curled up in positive territory. RSI not even overbought yet, so we do have the opportunity to head higher in a further squeeze. Now, I believe the last time we saw a move like this, how many days up are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I believe the last time we had a move kind of like this, we had about 5 more days of squeezing. 5 more days of squeezing. Oh, they did another dilution? I didn't even notice that, but we'll see. It's crazy to me that guy just dilutes it every time. He really he really hurts the apes or whatever it is. He really hurts them by diluting during this stuff. He does it every time, and it always hurts him. Hurts them. That's what it hurts. It really hurts those people trying to keep the stock up higher. So as of right now, what are we seeing in this? It looks like we can go get overbought again. So this makes total sense. Okay, we can get overbought again. The craziness is continuing. But one thing to note here, as we are outside of this area, now we're outside of that monthly expected move. So either we're going to see this as something crazy and see some kind of mega squeeze or some kind of mega pump up, or we're just going to treat this as regular behavior and find some support and then look into the next month and see that curl back up. So this is one of those 32% chances is happening right now. We still have a 68% chance to land down in this line here, this yellow line. That is the monthly expected move for the SPY. Now, real quick, I just wanted to point out that all of this was mainly because of that geopolitical problems going on overseas. And so the fact that this is happening, it would still make sense. I think we closed out of expected moves here. So if we can close out of expected moves to the upside, it still would make sense, right? 32% of the time. That's why I got rid of all of my shorts yesterday. I was like, nope, there's no reason to short. The signals were telling you this, even on a 30-minute. Now I used a 15-minute to get out of mine. But it's pretty much This bar right here on the 30-minute, you know I like it. This right here is saying, hey, just be careful going short here because this is still crossed up in positive territory now. And this thing can just start to extend, and that seems to be what's happening. Going over to the Qs, similar thing, big gap up. And so the 15 minutes where I got out somewhere around this level in here, not for the Qs, but for my trades, for my volatility play on the SPY. Now what are we seeing? This bar right here says, hey, positivity can come. No real confirmation to the downside. So I did not reapply any shorts or anything like that in this area. I knew CPI was most likely going to be a good print, especially when, you know, PPI seemed to be just blatantly rigged. So I need a couple levels to pay attention to. This zone up here going to be very important, right in between the weekly and the daily expected move. The daily expected move for today, 452.20. So we have a 68% chance to land within the zone between 452.20 and 439.66 today. All right, so we're paying attention to that. That would take you outside of the month, or outside of the monthly, outside of the weekly, and then you go test the daily. So this will be an area of resistance. So we have to see if this is really going to squeeze through that with some strength. But as of right now, not gapping above it or something, no big gap or something, big move priced in. We gravitate towards those levels. CPI LOL. Yeah, CPI LOL. That's the best way you could do it. Mike Clausen on GME today, just waiting for the right time. Yeah, and then there are signals you can pay attention to. We're just going to click through all the stocks that we cover, and we want to pay attention to also, you know, if you're trying to scale in or something like that to a position. I totally get it at this point, but I would highly suggest being very cautious with it. I keep saying this over and over. Apple, notice this, not seeing the most strength here. This is an area where this is really as high as it's supposed to is. This is outside of how high it's supposed to go. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that today. Sorry. Like the roaring kitty guy, he just keeps he keeps posting stuff, and it is just so funny to me. If you guys ever hear me get quiet or something like that, it's probably because I am watching a roaring kitty video. I'll play it, but I keep getting demonetized every single time that I play it. Weirdly enough, my position has not gotten weaker for AMC. All right, let's click back over. All right, so what can we see here? Well, that divergence could show up right away for Apple. Okay, so 15-minute, pay attention because this divergence right here completes. You're probably getting some kind of pullback here, so we'll pay attention to what's going on. Tesla, this one, what's it doing? It's making that upward move. It's trying to get up to that 180.92, and we're seeing that fade. Remember that daily or that weekly expected move is up at these wicks. Okay, so now we're getting another point of reference. You can go into a 5-minute maybe, see how this divergence is right by the center line, and there might be an opportunity here. There might be an opportunity here. This is showing a little bit of weakness and momentum. Now you have to be a little cautious because if this is doing something like this and we continue to squeeze, that can mean that Tesla's going to see something crazy happen. So you just want to be on your toes. And that means 5-minute. You might want to watch a 5-minute on this. If this can curl down, take out this low, good move. But if this wants to base out at any time and turn back up, what do we look at? The 5-minute curling back up into positive territory. That's going to be a very, very telling sign there. All right, so that overall is what is going on with the market this morning. Somehow my position, that's kind of a good thing. Okay, so Tesla, that looks like it is fading as of right now. You're getting that to confirm. So this is like one, hey, it's like, okay, it's outside of that move very early on in the week still. It's only Wednesday. So still early on, still some time for this move to pull back. What could this do? Well, we could start to roll around some 30 minutes and things like that. So it really looks like a pullback is coming. Maybe this move just starts to fade right away. We'll pay attention, but always pay attention to how you can get screwed. So even if you're watching a 30-minute and you're like, this thing looks like it's going to cross, just pay attention to a 5, pay attention to the 15, pay attention to those shorter time frames because those will give you a hint. Hey, the next upward move can come. And it's very simple. It's very cool because all you have to do with this type of thing is if you do something like this and then we actually react up to 180.92, okay, it's like I'm not taking any shorts at this point, but Up here, if you see that weakness and it's able to go fully negative, well, then that would be the next moment to get in. So it's just a matter of trading like water, right? Trading like water. Amazon, this one dropping off, getting a little bit of a gap down, actually. Very, very interesting. We don't want to do a 5-minute. We want to pay attention to our 30-minute charts here. Remember, Amazon's one of the ones that's pretty weak, I would say. I would say that's pretty weak, but on the daily scale. Some divergences up here for a double top, but we have to pay attention because this could be some kind of crazy cup and handle. It did come above that point, so that's a little bit but you have to talk about it in positive context because that daily is in positive territory. Now, the 30-minute you can talk about a little negatively. Maybe this isn't a strong enough base at this moment. It wants to curl down and then pop back up into positive territory. I think that's really what I would look for as far as Amazon goes this morning because we're seeing that weakness come in. So pay attention to that. NVIDIA, this one's seeing the upward move. Okay, so this one's going to confirm on the 2-hour, and it probably has some room to the upside here. Remember, this is not crazy overbought over here. This is not crazy overbought, so we're creating some kind of cup to scoop down and buy some buyers at these levels, and this can now head higher. But we have to pay attention to if you're going to take a 2-hour play up. First of all, not the best place to take a play up. Might just miss out on the move pretty much because it's not the best buying opportunity. The 30-minute here, what could we create right now? A divergence at this level. So if this turns down, a chance that that goes negative, right? That's all we're saying. There's a chance. There's a good probability that that goes negative because it's close to the center line. So if you take out this low, we can start to correct in this move before earnings. That would be very, very interesting for NVIDIA. Now, AMD seeing a big pop higher, and it actually gave you this confirmation yesterday. This gave you that confirmation on these last couple bars here yesterday. So telling you, hey, I'm curling up in positive territory, so the probabilities are leaning towards upside. And I just wanted to, even here, I wanted to pay attention to how you could get screwed out of a trade. We talked about that in last night's video. And today, what are we paying attention to? Well, I think 160.87 is a great target. You guys on Patreon, you do have those weekly expected moves. It's a little bit lower than that, but I would assume a reaction up to this level because it's so important would be good. Meta, this one trying to turn up into positive territory as well, but hasn't done so yet. So what do we want to pay attention to? Maybe we want to dig into a 30-minute. Maybe we just want to see, well, that's able to go positive at this moment. Do I have a confirmation on the hourly, right? I'm always moving around. There we go. There's a confirmation on the hourly for some kind of upward move that maybe goes and fills this gap, and then we have some kind of little divergence up here. So even though we're getting an upward move, we can still pay attention to weakness. And then if that weakness, it comes, hey, we can take a position, and then we just have to pay attention to how we can get screwed. It's a short squeeze, so you don't necessarily want to, short too heavily. You'll make plenty of money if that volatility actually does show up. But as of right now, we're curling up into positive territory, so the trade would actually be a swing trade to the upside. All right, we're closing above all the moving averages. We crossed on the MACD. We're above the center line on the RSI. There's probably some room to run here, and I can pay attention to my weekly expected moves for this guy here. So alrighty. And going through here, Microsoft, this is something to pay attention to. Let's see here, Microsoft starting to curl up, positive territory. The problem here, you got a bunch of divergences here. So 30-minute, you're going to see you pretty much have almost triple divergence. Yeah, you have triple divergence pretty much across the board here on the RSI and the MACD at the same time. Well, flatness in the recent one. So we got to be careful with this. This is where you want to kind of take the divergences with a grain of salt. This is a very, very strong move. If this just keeps going, this is never going to cross. So you really want to wait for those confirmations. Look for those weekly ranges. That's really going to help you out in deciding whether or not to take a position. If you come outside of that weekly range and then you see that cross down and able to cross on that MACD, well then, that would be a good sign. That would be a very, very good sign that there is going to be some kind of weakness coming. Google here, starting to head up. One that I really wanted to check on was Netflix. Netflix for sure. But you do have divergence at this level. Once again, you're doing a lot of cup and handling. So there could be a cup and handle here. So you just want to pay attention if you're thinking there's downside available here. You want to pay attention to how you can get screwed. Right now, the trend is still up on all of these daily charts pretty much. So even the 2 hour showing this triple divergence maybe across the board here. Okay, because this doesn't include this on the divergence reading. It actually confirms it a little bit lower. So this looks almost like a triple top, but if we break through that level, good shot we're going to break through this one, and maybe we're just going to see this thing scream higher and get rid of all those divergences. So if this does rotate down and you take a play to the downside or something like that, just be open to paying attention to a 15-minute or a 30, or probably a 30-minute. If that curls up at any time, well, then you might just have some kind of cup and handle, okay? So you have to pay attention to how you can get screwed. You have to be trading like water. It is overall the thing that helps you out the most in this market. Now, Netflix, remember this one here on the shorter time frames looked pretty ugly. This looked pretty ugly, okay? So if I go into a 30-minute, 15-minute, we see the big divergence able to go negative at this point. So in Netflix, a little different. It is in negative territory, so if it takes out this low, it's most likely going to make a new one. It's most likely going to take out this level and go make a new one. I just want to be very clear about that. If I zoom into a 15-minute, what are you going to see? If this curls up into positive, that's how you can get screwed out of this trade if you were trying to take something up here. So I'd be paying attention to a 15-minute. As of right now, that's crossed, but as long as that doesn't go positive, you're okay. Once that starts to go positive, then you want to be like, all right, I don't want to do anything because this could react all the way up to like 640 and you just be ruined. So we have to pay attention to that going forward. Let's look at volatility real quick. This thing really started to drop off. Something that I was trying to point out before, shoot, what was I saying? It was something I was trying to point out before we experienced a power outage on our street, which was so weird. But we had the divergence up here. So this right here is what I really wanted to talk about. And I think I mentioned this because that is potential there. This could break down, and then I wanted to pay attention to a divergence here. But you actually had divergences in this level too, on the 15-minute, and that led me to believe of that was going to happen, pulling down in volatility. Now we're seeing a dramatic drop-off. So what do I have to pay attention to? A 2-hour divergence forming. Remember, I've still been saying over and over, I think we're heading towards 12-12. That's why I'm not using a big position on anything. I'm just doing it just in case something bad happens, right? I don't necessarily want to take upside. I don't think that the trade setups are the best to be like, oh, this is confirmed, unless you look at an individual stock. But as of right now, what are you looking at? Okay, we're crossing down. If we go negative here, that's going to be a big sign. You want to pay attention for any kind of divergence at this level. If we don't create that divergence, the craziness will continue for some time. So the 2-hour divergence here, really want to pay attention to that. Why do I pay attention to that? Because that likes to rotate up the daily. If the daily is able to curl up and go positive over the next, week or so, that is a pretty good crash signal. And then you want to pay attention, is that fading? We always want to pay attention to the other side of the coin. We are going to be aware of that all the time. We're never going to be for sure in anything because the market is not a for sure thing. Okay, the dollar is dropping off pretty dramatically here. You don't have like a 4-hour, we can go into that. You do have like a divergence on the MACD, but not the RSI. So we could see some kind of bounce here, but that is not at the same time on your momentum indicator. So a little bit less probability that that's going to just burst up. Now it could see some kind of big bounce up like this. This pulls down and then we get that head and shoulders we were kind of talking about. That would be a great liquidity grab, but that's just a theory. None of this is crossing up. None of this is confirming. None of this is going positive. So I wouldn't bank on that at this moment. Now those yields dropping off very, very dramatically. Okay, these yields are dropping off dramatically here. What's going on? We are heading lower. We're heading lower. We have to see if some kind of support is going to come in at this level. You guys know I don't like to move my trend lines too often because I don't want to convince myself, oh, it's going to hit this trend line and then it goes through that trend line and then I remake the trend line and then I'm like, oh, it's going to hit this trend line and then I remake the trend line. I literally, like for fun, I watched some like major stock market losses for fun last night, and there's literally a guy who sits there, a big red move happens like this, and he's like, oh, well, we have some support. And then it literally the next second drops even further. He's like, oh, we have support. And then it just tanks. And he's like, oh, shit. So I don't want to be one of those guys. I'm not going to move anything. I'm not going to read into support if I'm in a trade. I know that if this rolls negative, we have a good shot for these yields to come down dramatically. How would I want to see those yields go higher? Well, I would want that divergence right now. So if this is not the correct move, some kind of divergence would confirm for me on a 4-hour. That's going to take a lot of time to prove itself. So maybe I want to look at a 2-hour, see where that's at, and that's going to be well into negative territory. So no reason really to believe these yields just have to reverse right back around and TLT is going to drop. No, not at this moment. At this moment, you would say, hey, this is negative. It continues to be negative. Yeah, it's oversold. You can get some kind of bounce. But as long as that remains negative, I really shouldn't be thinking like, oh, these yields have to go higher from this level. Sorry, my eye is killing me. There we go. Alrighty, let's go back over to the SPY, and a lot of people reading into the Dow trying to top out here, and I was like, I'm not really reading into that too much. All I pay attention to is the 30-minute getting close to negative territory. Okay, it curled right back up. It curled right back up. This is a point you can pay attention. You have a divergence forming right there. Maybe you want to look at getting into an entry here. Okay, well, if this 15-minute can curl back down, you have the divergence on the 15-minute. You can believe in that. Just make sure to watch that 15-minute. If it does not cut this lower, if it does for a brief moment and turns back up into positive territory, not necessarily the top for this move. So we're paying attention to a few things today going into the SPY. And now I'm going to look at the chat and say hi to you guys. Hopefully you got your coffee ready. We got another big day in the market. We got short squeezes going on. We got all kinds of stuff going on right now. AMC down now. As far as AMC and GME go, both are down dramatically. And from what I'm seeing, they're just really pressuring. They're just really pressuring the shorts or the calls. They're trying to, pretty much they're buying, like, they're creating synthetic shares in order to force the stock to go down or remain at lower levels. But as far as AMC goes, pulled up maximum pain if you guys are interested in seeing that for a brief moment. Pulled up maximum pain. These people did not cover their shorts yesterday. So yesterday I kind of posted this as a post and I was like 53,000 and then 3,000 more got added over since yesterday. And so now you're like, okay, these people are still underwater. Like, don't think they're not. This is a good move down for them. So they might be a little bit better off. But you're still up at 5.82. While they need to end the day on Friday below 3. So that's going to be a very, very bad thing if it just remains above 3. So we're looking right now. We're paying attention to the chart on our other screen. Just wanted to point that out to you today. Alrighty then. How's everyone doing in the chat today? Let's get rid of that data there. Let's say hi to everyone. How we doing, Bubblicious? Is the Powell clown a clickbait, or do you actually think you're smarter than him? Do I think I'm smarter than him? No. Do I think that I'm the reason that a bunch of Americans are suffering because of inflation? No. I think he is. Do I think that maybe I am smarter than him, actually, because I said it wasn't transitory. He said it was. I said banks are failing and that's a bad thing, and he says banks are failing, that's a good thing. That's some stupid things to say. But no, I don't really care to be smarter than anyone. I make money in the market. That's all I care about. Yeah, maybe that's the way you put it, Georgie. Less corrupt. I'd rather be a good person than a super smart person and a douchebag. Let's put it that way. Good morning from the left coast, Dave, Jose, Gray Matter. Also, I don't know why people are coming in here and sucking a random old guy's D, but that's cool. Ego. All right, interesting. Uniworld, good morning. Lucas kicks this Yoko clown out of the chat. I need to get a moderator in here soon. What's that? Yeah, you'll be my mod once we get set up in the new place. We got a lot going on. Like, did we just find the one guy that doesn't think that Jerome Powell is a douche? Interesting. AMC Cardinal, yeah, AMC. We have that up on the other screen. It's just, for the most part, guys, this channel is dedicated to learning, encouraging people to trade better, encouraging people to actually, the AMC trade. Yes, you can trade it from momentum signals. We did that yesterday. We showed you guys exactly what to pay attention to. Just when that 30-minute curls up, you're most likely going to see the next move higher. You need confirmations on bigger time frames. Right now, if I just pull it up on my left screen, I have a 5-minute up, and it's in negative territory, which means 5 minutes in a negative trend. Until that goes positive, if you really want to see the positive move, you got to at least get the 5-minute into positive territory for AMC. Now, GME on the 5-minute, it was able to go positive for a moment, and it looked a little stronger. But as of right now, it's breaking down. Actually, for GME right now, you could pay attention to a divergence. If that confirms, then you probably know that some kind of reversal in trend is coming, and maybe that 30-minute does actually curl up. Maybe that 15-minute does curl up. But as of right now, you can't really say that, right? You have to talk negatively about it on a 5-minute chart. and the 15 minutes even starting to roll negative as well. So the momentum is not there. It can show up at any time. I'm perfectly open to that. I'm in AMC. I'm not saying I'm not in AMC, but gotta be patient. Did anyone see that AMC exploded over 750% during the last halt? Yeah, it also AMC's implied volatility when I made those ranges was only at like 300%. The implied volatility on AMC right now and GME, I checked GME, and I made a range for that, but that number was absurd, so I do not want to share that. That number was absolutely absurd, but AMC and GME both had almost like 800% implied volatility. And so these big swings are going to happen for AMC and GME. Just know that. That just means big swings are going to happen. That's why if you're part of that hold crowd and you get freaked out, you have to treat the trade, at least in my opinion, how I do it, because, I got a family, I got a kid, we're moving, we have all this stuff going on. I can't risk, $10,000, $5,000, because I could lose all 5,000 and it would just be like an annoying trade for me. So what I want to do is just dedicate, $2,000 to it. If I want to, I could scale into a position to make the position better. I have pretty good things going on. So just trading it how I normally treat it, really, not trying to get emotional with it. It's fun. It's fun. And if a lot of rich people lose money, that's cool with me. Market overreaction at the moment. CPI is 1.5% over the 2% target. Yeah, it's still higher. But the thing about inflation still being higher, if you notice, the behavior of buyers right now is just making the stock market go up as inflation is. So if inflation's higher, you would expect stocks to be worth more. And right now, what are we seeing? Inflation's still higher. Stocks are worth more. So that's all I'm saying with that. Everyone chasing 1,000% sets limits for modest 20% and walk away. CVIA, actually, I got a couple emails from people following like 5-minute charts that we were talking about yesterday. And a lot of people in here actually were taking profit, and that's perfectly fine. You can treat it as a trader. Me personally, I'm going to hold it. I said I'm willing to lose everything if I really need to get out of the position or something like that. If I'm really scared about losing $2,000, I'm not too. I'm thinking I'm more enjoying being part of the movement is how I put it. Can we check silver? Yeah, we can. We just checked the dollar dropping down dramatically, by the way. Let's just check SLV. This is the one I like to look at. And ooh, you got some big divergences here on the 30-minute. These can roll around the 2-hour. Okay, so I'm guessing the 2-hour is pretty overbought. Let's look at that. Yeah, pretty overbought now. So this is telling me, hey, yeah, silver can pull back from here. The cool part about silver, actually, though, going up to this level is this is exactly like the area where you would want to start to create a cup that handle. Okay, so if we're going to create that handle, you just want to pay attention. Anytime this 2-hour curls back up into positive territory, the next big move is coming. We can get down towards that center line. As of right now, the 30-minute kind of telling you, I have triple divergence. Okay, so if this starts to drop off, then that pullback can come. Maybe we react down to 25.20, right? I really like that level. Get a retest of where we broke out from. Get a retest of the, crazy looking head and shoulders, the very sideways, price act sideways. But this still could be, head and shoulders liquidity grab. So what could happen from here? Well, we could react down. Maybe we want to retest that level. That's what I would say as of right now, because we know it's important. We gapped above it. We gapped below it. It's a very, very important level to pay attention to. Resistance. And then what do? We move sideways right before it. Very good sign. Boom, we're off to the races. So we might want to go retest that. Very, very cool. Powell's fluffer. Yeah, that's Powell's friend that always has his hand in his back pocket. They're in prison together. It's nothing against him personally. It's just they're doing the exact thing that hurts the middle class and poor people the most. So pretty much if you come in here and you say, I love Jerome Powell, then I'll be saying, how much money do you have? Because you're probably not middle class. Or, there's two things that could happen there as well. It could just be ignorance. If you like what Jerome Powell's done, then you don't understand what he has done. You don't understand what's going on. You like the fact that your stocks that you bought in 2020 are higher. That's probably what it is. Yeah, CVIA, some people message me, they're taking profit. They're treating it like traders, and I love to see that. It's very, very risky. I know that a lot of people in here are just learning, but someone took a play on it and, donated to me because I showed them the signals. They donated to me on PayPal, and I was like, okay, cool. So I think that's More Panda. So More Panda, by the way, thank you so much for the donation, and way to trade like water. Always trading like water. He's kind of like, oh, I'm going to trade this. If it goes majorly up, that'd be cool. But if it starts to break down again, I see the signals. I'm going to treat it as a trader and take some profit. Perfectly fine. Made 360. Profit on NVIDIA again. Trade like water. That's what I'm talking about. Good job. Let's go take a peek at NVIDIA, actually. I'm kind of interested in this. This is starting to fade as of right now. Bigger time frames, that 2 hour trying to curl. Maybe it has some more work to be done. This just tells me maybe it doesn't have enough liquidity to get the full pop yet. AMD, what's that one doing? Fading that one as well. So this is where you'd want to complete the cup in this 30-minute for sure. 2 hour curled up. Maybe we go fill the gap and then we're off to the races, right? This can take a lot of time. That's why we trade like water on this channel. Everything can take a lot of time. It's not going to just happen right away. Like people are hoping for AMC and GME. And that's perfectly fine to hope it happens right away, but just know it's going to take some time. Alrighty, we just want to watch a 30-minute for now. I'll leave it up here. Do you think the market correction is over? This is very, very squeezed potential here. So it could be. To say that it is over, the risky part of where we are at right now is at any time we could turn around and this could get ugly. That's the bad part. And the reason I'm saying that is because volatility can scale up at any time. The 2 hour is still in positive territory, so that can scale up very quickly, right? Even right now. And then in a few days, we could create a 2 hour divergence, which we have to still be on our toes. The daily isn't turned up, so we can feel a little bit good about that. But once it does, that's scary. Let's look at a weekly. The reason that you got to be a little scared here is just the weekly. But if this is able to cross down this week, see how that's crossing down? The only thing is you still have to be on your toes, because where is it? It's right at that center line. So this is saying probability right now, as of today's price action, we got to wait till the weekly confirms. But if that's crossed, then the probability is, hey, yeah, this is going to go lower, right? But notice this, what if we just created a simple divergence here? We get a triple divergence down here on the MACD. And actually, if you go all the way back to where this divergence was made, you'd get a triple divergence on the RSI. So if this is brief and we just get some kind of squeeze for a week or two here, that can create that divergence. Oh God, I gotta sneeze. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, guys. And yeah, so people can move out of GME and AMC to put that back into the market. You are 100% correct. That can happen. And it might be happening right now. Sorry, I'm still on a weekly chart. Let's go into the 30-minute and go back over to the SPY for a little bit. Bless you. Thank you. Thank you. We've been sneezing a lot here lately. I don't know what's going on. Kansas, that wind, the allergies looking awful for us. All right, for now, let's go take a peek over at AMC and GME, seeing that drop off dramatically here. So remember, we were like, if the 5-minute divergence forms, what can we pay attention to? A 5-minute divergence. That's not happening as of right now. So if you were technically trading like water in this move, what would you say? Well, 5-minute crosses up, good potential to go positive here. Okay, so 5-minute crosses up right at this bar right here. Okay, you take the play. Maybe you ride this out for a little while, and then you see that getting maybe overextended. You see it kind of flagging. I mean, you got like a little consolidated triangle here. I mean, this necessarily wouldn't be the best to take out, but if you wanted just a simple play on this and be like, I just want to make some quick money, boom, boom, boom. I'm going to tell you, this right here would be worth more than 20%. That might be worth like 120%, honestly. So if you bought at the right time, buy in this area, boom, boom, boom happens. Okay, 120%. And maybe this beat you up a little bit, but pretty much it's like 5-minute. 20 minutes later, you probably could have made 50% or something like that. We'll see. You'll have to have more Pando. He was trading this thing like water, but as of right now, I'm just holding this. I'm not scared of anything. Oh well, technically I'm holding AMC actually, but No real divergences being formed at this time. You have gap fill coming in and all things like that. So the support level that I found for AMC, by the way, was about 4.37. I'd rather make less than get stuck. And yeah, that's perfectly fine, especially if you're treating this like if you're using an amount of money that you really care about losing. Then yeah, you probably want to be quick with it. You more want to treat it as a trader. You can use it as some skill, as a skill to develop your trading like water, because these moves are going to be very, very quick. Very, very quick. So the cool part about this move too was on the 1 minute you had a little double bottom down here with some divergence. That was very cool. And then you get one big pop. I think you could have made about 90% on that move. That's where I bought in, was right at that level. So, and then if it hits 437, I might place another one. But not for too much, right? I don't want to keep scaling in or something. I'll probably do it one more time and then be like, all right, I'm done. I'm going to let that ride and be a part of it, but not be expecting like to become a millionaire or something like that. Bitcoin, this is seeing some upward price action, so I think we should talk about it for a second. Bitcoin crossing up, still crossed up on the daily MACD. Okay, so this was beating down. If we go into a 4 hour, it might even be negative on the 4 hour, actually. Actually, that just curled up into positive territory, so good signal there. You're at an area where you might cup and handle, so you could create a handle here. Usually for the handle, you want to look at a 2 hour. Okay, so what are we paying attention to here? Well, you're going to notice we came up to an area that's very important. What could we do? Well, we could see that pull down and then cross back up. Or this could just go ballistic if we start to really squeeze across the board. But Bitcoin, meme coins, all coins are going to get a lot of attraction, a lot of marketing pretty much for free to these coins. 2 hours cooked for the SPY, man. It's cooked, but that's a squeeze. That's what squeezes do. Now you just want to see if the taking profit comes in. That's why I was like, well, we need an area to really take profit, but that is a big gap. It's a pretty big gap. And soon TLT will outperform QQQ and SPY. Yeah, most likely we are, because you're going to get like uninversion and see the yields have to drop most likely soon. But as of right now, you're just kind of like, I'm holding this. This is one of my only holdings at 82.50. Remember, that was a level that I paid attention to a long time ago, right? We paid attention to that in August. Boom, it broke down to 82.50. I had my buy set there, and it hit my buy and then started to take off. So you're at a point where TLT is actually able to go positive here. That initially could be a good sign, but we know that if those yields uninvert, that actually is a sign that in the next 6 to 18 months, we're going to see something really bad happen. But that's the point to get at here. 6 to 18 months. Doesn't have to happen right away. We can head higher here. We can do this. We can do back up to this and then see that later on. So I'm not fully convinced like, hey, this is a top yet. Once I am, I'll tell you about it. I can tell you on the daily scale, though, you want to pay attention to this right here. If we just turned right here, crossed over on this MACD, you have a good probability of reversal and trend, which means lower levels, which means test this low, go make a new one. So that's what I would pay attention to overall on the daily scale. If you're going to see any weakness come in for a few days, you want to make sure that's crossing. And then after that crosses, you want to make sure, like, is it breaking this trend line and going into negative territory? That's what I would say. I don't want to look at anything that is a crazy squeeze, Sammy. And I'm sorry to do that to you, but it's just if it's a crazy squeeze, I'm not going to have any levels for you if I haven't made them already. I have levels for AMC. That's the only one I was able to make good levels for. By the time I got to the GME levels, it was the implied volatility was like 800%. So I don't want to read too much into that. But I hope you do well, Sammy. I want to tell you that. I hope you do well in that trade. I really, really do. Okay, let's go down into a shorter time frame. I know we're clicking around a lot today. Well, we click around a lot every day. Good old ADHD. Let's go. See if they're ready. I do have to say, yeah, sorry, Sammy, but I don't want to do you a disservice, because if I click over to that, I'll be like, most likely what I'm going to say, if you're trading anything that is just squeezing rapidly to the upside, like an AMC or GME, the overall take that I will give you is pay attention to a 15-minute or a 30-minute, see if that can curl down to the center line and curl back up. That would be a confirmation of momentum. So if I don't even have to pull up the stock, If it's ballistic to the upside like this, just wait for that 15-minute or 30-minute to get close to the center line and then curl back up. That's the overall take. Now, AMC and GME, the last time they had a big sporadic move, they only did this. They didn't get close to the center line on the 30-minute, so 15-minute is actually negative a little right now for AMC, and I believe GME too. But if that curls up and goes positive, that's momentum confirming the next move. I hate cash accounts. Sorry, Quandale. Mr. Dingles. Yeah, a lot of the trading platforms might behave very weird over the next few days because of the AMC and GME stuff going on. AMC finally seeing a green bar on a 5-minute chart. There you go. And GME doing the same, kind of wiping out the last bar. So we'll see if this is a moment to pay attention to. What am I looking at? What am I looking at? I want a confirmation of this move higher. If you pull out GME on a 15-minute, what are you going to notice? The 15-minute was not able to cross into positive territory. That's how important that crossing is. You want me to help you? Here, I'm gonna help the girls real quick. They're going over to see Abuela. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. We're back. My dogs are going insane. We're moving and all that. Do you think this is an overreaction? I mean, if you look at the shorter time frames, you're going to be convinced it is. I think it's an overreaction because you have to keep in mind the PPI is bad. The PPI was bad. But the problem with them revising the previous PPI is it makes it very, very confusing now because now people are going to think, well, that could just get revised next month. Roaring Kitty tweeted again. I can't show Luke. Yeah, so the amount of time that the first move to 100 took was only, I think it was 2 weeks. So after about 2 weeks, joined you on AMC. Welcome. Thank you, Chang. And thank you so much for subscribing. Really appreciate it. Look at that. Boom. So it took about, I think it took about 1 to 2 weeks to get to 100 from a price point of like $16. And then the next time it happened a little bit quicker. It really was pretty quick. And it was literally like, it popped up to 22 or something like that. And then a 30-minute crossed up, and over the next like 3 days, it just went to ballistic. So I can play Roaring Kitty's thing, but I can't show it. I keep getting like every video I do gets like flagged or whatever, so I can't keep getting flagged. Every time I show Roaring Kitty and every time I show anything that he does, it gets flagged. But we can play the oh my gosh, he's been making a bunch. What's this one? See, that's why I keep getting demonetized because of the music and stuff. It's a Fortnite video? Oh, GameStop Gaming? Fortnite? Cool. Do this one.
Hey, Mr. Durden. You're the one who gave me this.
Fight Club?
Please return your seat backs to their full, upright, and locked position.
You broke your promise. Jesus, Tyler. You fucking talked to her about me. Like, what the?
The long one. Okay, well, we gotta pay attention to stocks. I can read into those later. GME is seeing a bounce now. Up 11% from that low there, by the way. Do you think it's going to pop today? I got some contracts expiring Friday. I think I should get out. You could pay attention to a 5-minute chart, honestly. Like, if you have a contract that's going to expire by Friday on something, first of all, 5-minute chart, you really want this to go positive. You really want this to go positive, right? This isn't necessarily going positive yet. Okay, so you do have divergence at this level for GME. It's a good sign of the momentum dying out. If that can cross back up and then go positive, that would be the really good sign for a next move higher, and that would like to rotate around this 15-minute, which you see the rejection there. So the rejection there, you never got the confirmation of the move. I know people probably want to get in early just in case something crazy happens, but it does take some time. I think if you're really expecting this to happen in like a day, that's why I really encourage, like, if you're going to do an option, you might want to do like a month out or something like that. If you're going to do an option with this, do like a month out. Just because you're going to get beat up. The volatility is 700%, right? So that means you're going to get huge swings. And what are we seeing on the 5-minute? We're seeing huge swings, right? Let's just say, we won't include all these, but say this one here, 43% up. All right, now you're 20-something, 30-something percent down, 37% down. Now you can go, I don't know, 30, 40% back up, and then you can go 30% back down. Like, it's a time to be like, if you're trying to do a shorter expiration, I would not be trying to hold it to 200. I would be trading it back and forth because it's too hard to time it. No one can time it exactly. No one can time it exactly. If you wanted to try to make a bunch of money, I would suggest, month out options or something like that if you're going to do options, or just buy the stock, right? Because it's not the worst price in the world, 36. AMC is not the worst price in the world either at 542, right? Can you take a look at PHM? It was looking like it wanted to roll over on the MACD before CPI again. Good morning, Mr. Diamond Hands. Let's go. Can you take a look at PHM? Yes, we can do that real quick here. Ooh, my goodness. What is up with this guy? It looked like it wanted to roll over on the MACD before CPI. Okay, well, first of all, CPI is going to cause reactions across the board, right? CPI is going to cause reactions across the board most of the time. Even Tesla, right? Even Tesla got a pop higher. Now it's kind of fading, but it still got the pop higher, which hurts you. That's why once I saw the PPI data, I was like, I'm not putting any plays into CPI. I'm putting 0 plays into CPI, and I'm going to wait till things are extremely clear. Being patient is a good thing. We talk about it in the course a lot, about how being patient can make you a really, really good trader. What's happening as of right now, this is curling up and going positive. Now you're going to be convinced like, oh, this is overbought. This needs to reverse. Which MACD were you looking at? Jonathan, which MACD were you looking at? Added AMC. There you go, Christopher. It's at 529 right now. Pretty cheap. I remember AMC went higher than GameStop, I think, last time. I don't know if that happens again, but apparently AMC has like AMC and GME, they both have a large amount of like, ghost shorts or whatever. I was looking at a 1 hour. Okay, now I can look at a 1 hour for you. You thought this was curling down? Oh, you were saying going negative maybe? Going negative maybe? The point here that you need to start to think about before a big data drop is you can read into it, but a stock like this, it needs to be very, very clear before that, and you need to see that across the board on a few other stocks. But What I would say about this one is you're not breaking the low, and you're technically right by the center line. So this isn't the best opportunity in the world, right? Especially to front run. Because really, if you believe that this needed to pull back, you probably wanted to enter in here. You probably wanted to pull up a 15-minute or something like that. And what do you see on the 15-minute? That's your entry. Okay, this is where paying attention to multiple time frames will help you. If you're paying attention to the hourly rolling over, right? I'm like, I need the hourly to roll down, and it's way up here. Okay, cool. Well, a 15-minute divergence can help me out. 15-minute divergence right here, 15-minute divergence on the R side at the same time. Good sign for weakness. Scale in, big drop, take profits so you're even. Then you play with house money for CPI, and then you're not worried about this. I know that's not like helpful to you right now, but it will be very, very helpful in the future. Because if you're looking at an hourly chart, 15-minute divergence is what I like. Now, I still like my 30 minutes, but I hope that was helpful, Jonathan. By far the best opportunity to get money currently, and I think you know, Bitcoin and stuff does have the potential to boom now. There's so much. Okay, good. Thank you, Jonathan. I mean, I really was just like, how can I turn this into something beneficial? Because doing anything from here, from a position perspective, it's like, okay, what's the 2 hour doing? What's the 2 hour look like? 2 hour curls up, positive territory. We didn't have divergence at the same time. This one's not the same. So what would you say at this level up here, even though you have some flatness across the way? Well, you'd say a pullback is coming. You'd say a pullback is coming. If this is going to be a double top or something, it needs to cut this low. The fact that it didn't means I can scale into that position. I can take profit a little bit here so that I'm playing with house money. Now I can leave 1 or 2 contracts as runners and then let that see what happens. And then it's like, okay, if I lose it, I don't care. I'm still at break even. And if I make money, cool, that's going to be a double top. But what are we seeing now? 2 hour curling up, positive territory. Now you're right by, what's it called? You're right by overbought. So you're pretty much overbought already, but we've seen squeezes across the board pretty much, and that can start to scale up. Let's see gold for a second. What's gold doing? Gold rejected the crossing here and started to head up. Very strange place to make any kind of handle. That looks like maybe it's just some kind of pullback. Let's look at a 30-minute. There's a good support level here. Well, there's a good trend. I'm going to go from this line here. Actually, it will be at the base. Look, that's a pretty good trend. If you get rid of that, you can go like that. I think that's a pretty good trend there. You start to lose that, it might be a little worrisome. I'd probably just extend it out and do the 2 touches like that. But good trend for gold here. Oil really is starting to drop off dramatically. Ooh, wait a second. Wait a second, oil. That is dropping off dramatically. Now, US oil, this is a... it has a lot more time in it. I'd pay attention if this 4 hour crosses up. We might see this actually burst to the upside. Wow. Damn, that's beaten down. Let's check on NVIDIA again on the shorter time frames here on a 30-minute. See if that thing's seeing some strength. Looks like that strength's coming, so you have no confirmation of these divergences yet. No reason to... Remember, we need 3 to 5 reasons to take a trade. 3 to 5 reasons to take a trade, just like we talk about in the course. 3 to 5 reasons. That's when you will be very, very good. Like, so for your trade, looking for an hourly to cross over, that's fine. That's what you're looking for a trigger. But you want to be like, okay, but what... If I'm going to pay attention to the hourly, what are the 5 things I could look for? Are we at resistance? Do I have a 15-minute divergence? And then the hourly crossing over can be your full confirmation, right? But it could help you get into the move early, and then you just see if you get screwed. It's stuck around 930. Yeah, it seems it's stuck there. I thought you might make a little handle or something like that. If you have enough liquidity, you can head higher. But overall, the 2 hour curling up, I mean, big move coming. This really didn't get that overbought. It really didn't. It just touched the overbought range. You really want to see, like, a 2 hour can go all the way up to a reading of like 80. But this reading up here was around 85, 85, 82. So if this really wanted to, it could take off, and then we'd see that consolidate and then take off again. So 30-minute, let's see how cooked that's getting. So now we can pay attention to 2 things at once. Yes, there is potential for divergence, but this is super positive context. You're still above the trend, right? This trend going on right here. We're still above it at this point. So what would we say? Well, if you get that big move, it's still a little bit continued. Well, we want that to get close to the center line, curl back up, right? Close to the center line, curl back up. What happened over here? Well, we curled back up, and then over time, we just kept staying in positive territory. So we see positivity over time. Very interesting. Tesla, are you fading that move? Look at Tesla. Look at that. See, this is what we're talking about. This is where it just made sense. Now the 15-minute rolling over and going negative. We'll see about a retest. One thing you want to pay attention to is a 2-hour probably. If that curls down, that's not going to be good. Maybe we want to go a little bit deeper into an hourly. Yeah, if that hourly can roll over and go negative, you might not get just a retest. Now, that's what you'd lean towards as of right now. But if that rolls negative, then you would say it could take out this low or go make a new one. So, not the best look for Tesla. The 15-minute stuff, pretty significant. Well, no real divergences at this level. Just getting outside that range, though. Look at this. Both times we came outside of that range, beat down. Get outside of the range, beat down. So, very, very cool to see it react like that. Remember, this is happening on a Wednesday. You don't want to see that on Wednesday. If you see it towards Thursday, Friday, yeah, a little less time, but now you can have a lot of time. This is BS. GME halted. GME halted? All right, why? It's not even going up. Hey, it is BS, but this is that game you are playing, by the way, and I'm playing it too. But Sammy, just to let you know, the reason that it's legal is because a lot of the time volatility itself just triggers that halt to happen, by the way. It's not like it is being done on purpose every single time, but in this case, they I believe, like, I think I saw someone break it down and they proved how the people who are in charge of certain trading platforms are actually, like, have some kind of correlation to wanting AMC and GME to go down. And so therefore you would say they're slightly in control of those halts. That's probably why you're seeing dramatic selling and things like that. I can tell you right now, most of the people who have bought the stock are holding. Most are holding. You have traders throughout the day who trade it back and forth, right? So they're going to sell at end of day or sell if they see a big pop in the morning, you're going to see selling. But those traders, overall, you have to know that most people are still holding the stock. Bought 42 call option and then halt. Might as well hold till Friday and see what happens. I really want to buy NVIDIA puts, but can't because of the cash account. Yeah, cash account. The thing is with a cash account, if you're not working with a ton of money or anything like that too, especially with a cash account, it saves you from over trading. It does save you from over trading, but I could see how that's really annoying if you're trying to really make a career out of trading. It's going to be really freaking annoying to have a cash account. Just made 200 off AMC puts. Boo. Boo. No, congratulations. I always want people making money, and if you're trading it back and forth, I get it. McChillin. But Tesla, that's some big weakness coming in there. Damn. Amazon, look at that thing. That's weak too. So the two that were really showing, like Tesla was saying, like, hey, yeah, I'm showing a double top. I'm overextended a little bit. That one outside of its weekly range. Apple's the only one that's outside of its weekly range that's just going. It's just going right now. 2-hour divergence. Once that confirms, we might see a big pullback next week. Why would we get a pullback next week? I might need to look at some data. I might need to look at some data real quick. Trading has been halted. Remember, guys, the signal that I told you to pay attention to for AMC and GME is the 30-minute crossing up. That hasn't happened yet. That would be your confirmation of another upside move. At night. And if you guys watch that movie, what was it? Dumb Money. You guys watched Dumb Money. You knew that remember there's a point in the movie where everyone's down like 70% or something like that because of this stuff. The fact that the halt is happening is a sign that what you're doing this for is working, right? If they're halting because of whatever reason, right? Once we start to bounce dramatically, it halts. Okay, the more halts you see, the more pain that you know that these hedge funds and these people are going through. So it's not a bad sign. Now, what are we seeing from Apple as of right now? Going back to this, starting to climb up a lot higher, and you do have divergence up at this level. It's kind of hard to see on a 2 hour. Let's see a 1 hour. See the 1 hour. That's more what I would look into. If this starts to fade, I'd probably pay attention to a 30-minute crossing. And then I'd be like, okay, this needs to pull back maybe to this gap fill. If it starts to lose 180.47, that's going to be pretty worrisome. I'm going to see volatility too. A lot of interesting things happening. As of right now, you have to say that the squeeze is on for the actual stock market. And that might distract people a little bit from AMC and GME. Ryan Kitty is just posting, man. Let me read this. Hold on, I'm just reading something real quick. I'm reading his last video because he put subtitles on it. Oh my god, day trading. Oh, so he's like mad at the day traders. That's funny. Me, I'm like, however you can make money. That's pretty much how I'm going at it. I'm like, I don't mind if people are trading it. All right, but volatility really dropping off here. Dollar starting to bounce back. So some people taking some profit in this area. Some insiders taking some profit. That's how you read into that. VVIX, what are we seeing with that? Well, that's dropping off. 2 hour divergence. That's the next point to pay attention. HYG breaking to the upside. So you know the move's a little bit real, right? TLT and HYG breaking to the upside. Housing sector as well breaking to the upside. So this is not like a fake move or insider selling dramatically. Oh, look at that. Dow Jones. All right. We touched that point up there. Now we're going to have a 30-minute divergence probably. There you go. And now you have a very significant divergence. So this is a point where the Dow could tell you like, hey, if I cross over, take out this low, go negative, then it can start a negative trend. So even though we see this rapid move up across the board, really, IWM even going up towards that weekly expected move, this here, which the daily expected move is very, very big. We talked about this in the video last night, but this really starting to go rapid to the upside. 30-minute, probably not what you want to pay attention to. 2 hour divergence is what I would look at. These like to roll over daily charts, by the way. 2 hour divergences like to roll over daily charts. So IWM could experience some weakness here, but I think AMC and GME could maybe hold it up a little bit. Let me see who subscribed. Laura V, thank you so much for subscribing. I'm late to the party. I watched it last night on Netflix. Aren't the halts automatic in the system? Most of the time, yes, Adam. Most of the time, yes. But the fact that we were going rapid to the downside and there's no halt. By the way, they happen in both directions. So when you get an extreme amount of volatility, that's what causes a halt. And they happen all the time. But you notice that it's rapidly moving down. It doesn't halt. Then once they see a 12% bounce up in a 5-minute bar, then it halts. So that's all I would say. I have about $2,000 in AMC right now. Sorry, guys, I wish I could do more, but I have a baby girl. She is 4 months old, and if I put $5,000 to $15,000 behind it, she would. My wife would kill me. She'd be like, because you have to be willing to lose it all. So I really wish I could. I might scale in with like an extra $500 or something like that, but pretty much I don't want to keep scaling in because eventually she's going to be like, hey, like we have a kid and we're moving into a new place. I'm about to drop I think I just dropped $3,200 on my new place, like before we're even in there. Happy wife, happy life, brother. Best investment. Yeah, so I'm just like, hey, if it works out for us, that'd be great. She'd be happy, but I don't need to make $1 million or anything like that. And I'm willing to lose it all. Like, honestly, I'd like to see maybe some other people who are struggling a little bit more get some money than me personally. Even if I broke even at the end of the day after it booms higher, I'd be fine with that. Why is my camera turning off? Is she Latina? Yes. Have you gone over Google? We did a while ago, right at the beginning of the video. So Google here, breaking through the trend. So this little trend here. What could you do from here? Actually, I think a retest is likely. Get a little retest and head down. So you have to be aware of something right here. There is the potential for like a big divergence, but do I think that's what's going on? Most likely not. You have the 2 hour turning up, so you have to be aware if this stuff starts to rotate over. You have to be aware if that starts to rotate over. But as of right now, curling up on the 2 hour, positive territory, and you have room in the RSI, those divergences haven't confirmed. So what I would pay attention to for Google is if the 2 hour is going to get that strength for a long time, how could I get screwed out of this trade? A 30-minute rolling over. If this 30-minute rolls over, and it's not like very brief, you notice the 2 hour is very close to crossing still on that MACD to the downside. So if this happens for a couple hours, well, then that's going to look pretty ugly. Start to take out these lows is going to be bad. So 2 hour, though, rotating up. If you were a swing trader, you'd say, hey, it's by the center line, it's above the RSI, it crossed on the MACD, it's above the moving averages, boom, another big move comes, and then I can look for those weekly ranges. But as of right now, we have to talk in positive context while being aware of reversal potential. Fed Kashkari, yeah, he's the one that's really saying, like, he's putting a Fed rate hike on the table. I think, wait, what is it? Is FOMC minutes? When's FOMC minutes? That's what I need to look at. That's what I was trying to do earlier, and my ADHD kicked in. Fed Chair Powell speaks on Sunday. That's a commencement speech. I wouldn't read too much into that. But FOMC minutes, Wednesday, May 22nd. So if we see a pullback before May 22nd, by the way, if the market pulls back for whatever reason, and this is just an if, FOMC minutes might go nuts because he was talking so good about banks. And he was talking about a rate cut in July is what my chat was telling me. We didn't watch it, but someone in my chat was saying he talked about a rate cut in July. If they confirm a rate cut in July, you might see the mother of all short squeezes right there if we get a pullback before then. Right. Dude, he's just posting like crazy. He must see the price action. He really wants people. XLU up, waiting for till it starts to drop. That's right. So XLU, this is going to be the utilities. Remember, this is what happens right before a crash. You see utilities go bonkers. You see utilities just go bonkers. What are we seeing right now? We're seeing utilities go bonkers. And then I paid attention to, last time that this happened, it was one bar down, one crossing of the MACD, one impression of a red impression on the histogram down here on the MACD. And like 2 days later, the market tanked. And then I looked back at the other time, and it was the same thing. Now, if you look back one more time, though, this played out to the downside, and the market actually went a little bit higher for some time. Okay, so you don't want to necessarily just be like, oh, XLU, utilities cross down, so we're going to crash. No, you have to, it's not going to be that simple. The market, especially a market like where we're at right now, it's a lot more complicated because we have so much debt just being piled in. We have M2 money supply increasing right now. So it's like they can keep the show going. But this is a signal to pay attention to. You just want to see this stuff proven on the SPY, proven on the Qs and things like that before you get into it. But look at that, it's screaming higher, which means this isn't the top. It can keep going. What did he say, Roaring Kitty? Well, he's putting out those videos, which in order for me to read into them, I have to like focus on them a little bit. So what I get from Roaring Kitty's videos is he's pretty much trying to get everyone to team up and stop fighting over whichever stock that they want to pump up and really hurt those billionaires, whatever, the hedge funds. So what is overall he doing? He's also putting out hints that this is the last time. Like a few of his videos are like one last time is said a lot. So I think this might be the last time he's doing it. Tesla and ARM are down. Tesla, yeah, it's still at the same area when we last looked at it. It was actually down 2% when we looked at it. Amazon's down lower, though. Yeah, damn. So what could you pay attention to here for Amazon, actually? Well, let's go look. Let's go look where my weekly ranges are. I'll help you out. Look at my weekly range. Amazon's almost to its weekly range, but it's not fully there. But one thing to point out here, you have a 30-minute divergence. That's what we were telling you to pay attention to right before the big drop. But pretty much when we saw this drop, we're like, okay, now we can create a divergence. Look at the 15-minute divergence if you wanted an entry into this play, and then you just want to pay attention to how you can get screwed. Okay, so if I see this confirm right on this MACD, this rotates up and goes positive, great sign. Then you want to make sure it's confirming on a 30-minute, right? We want to make sure it's confirming on a 30-minute. How would you get screwed out of this trade? Well, if that 15-minute just rotates back down, you could even go 5-minute, right? If the 5-minute starts to look like this and then just go like that, go like this, and then go like that, then you probably don't want to take any more upside for Amazon. It's not the right moment, but that right moment could be like just below you. It's just a way to trade like water. Always pay attention to how you're going to get screwed. And Amazon is not at its weekly expected move just yet. It's got a couple more points down to get there. Ooh. Another one. Yeah, he's pumping out videos today, which tells me he's really encouraging people that this can happen, and he wants people to keep the stock up so that those people so they lose billions of dollars. Makes total sense. I get it. Alrighty. Cool. He's rallying the people. Yeah, he's pretty much just saying, like, hold. And I think what he's seeing here is, hey, people play momentum. So traders like myself, if I was playing momentum on AMC or something like that, what would I be doing? Well, I'd probably be looking at a 5-minute crossing down into negative territory. What happened right here? A 5-minute cross down into negative territory, and there was a little bit of room left on this RSI. So what do? Hey, short 6. All right, play it to 5. Cool. Play it to 5. Done. Out. You made probably like 75% on that move, and then you're back in if this can curl up. So here's what to point out here. What do we talk about on regular stocks? You can still use momentum here. So what were we talking about? Okay, you have a 5-minute divergence here on the MACD, but you don't necessarily have that on the RSI at the same time. So that leads me to believe if this pops, this could give you a lower high. It could give you a lower high. Now, in the environment we're in, if this pops and then those short sellers, they start to suffer and they have to cover, well then, that could mean this starts to squeeze. So then you'd want to pay attention to, is the 30-minute crossing up? If the 30-minute crosses up, that's probably the moment for the next big move. And I believe that the next big move is up towards 22. 22 was the last level I looked at. So it's going to be somewhere between 16 and 22. And the other thing is Robinhood kind of hints you where they think it's going because they opened up the level of 22, I think, for a call. AMC finally seeing a potential comeback. They actually saw a potential comeback and then they halted trading. At least on GME. They saw this wick and then it was a 5-minute bar. It was a 5-minute bar, and then right when someone was like, all right, it's back, they halted trading, and then it started to drop down. Actually, they halted right here, so maybe it did fade before that. And that could just be volatility halt. It might just be a volatility halt. It might not be someone going up and pushing a halt button. All right. Versus Tesla. Tesla's still dropping down. Still dropping down 2% now. Moving sideways on a 5-minute, if we're really reading into this. So 5-minute, what can you see? This can continue to head sideways for some time. I still like that reaction, right? So we actually did pretty well with this, giving the both scenarios. We do pay attention to multiple scenarios on this channel because good traders pay attention to multiple scenarios. So our one scenario was, does this beat down, get a double bottom, or get a divergence? That's the first scenario to be really bearish in this area. Okay, the next one is, if we bust out, we're going to touch the weekly expected move and then get some kind of retest. And so far, that's what's happening. So the one of the two scenarios that we gave for this is playing out. And now I believe that we're going to get some kind of retest of that level, unless Tesla doesn't want to break below here. There might be some orders under there. So how's that even okay, halting trading? Well, technically it's okay for if you're not using a brokerage. So if you're not, when E-Trade stopped trading, when someone said Charles Schwab stopped trading a little, that is not good. That's a brokerage. That's a broker. And that is bad. That is like pretty much illegal. Like that's pretty much illegal. And the reason that you're sketched out by it is because I believe they said like, oh, their power went off for an hour and a half. And I'm like, well, my power went off, but like, what are the chances that your power goes out during a short? Like, it's a little bit, it just makes you skeptical. Sometimes those coincidences seem a little bit iffy. But yeah, Tesla, looks like we're going to get some kind of retest down here. You think GameStop bottom? We'll look back at that in a minute. Let me look back over at NVIDIA real quick. Just notice overbought on the SPX. It's the 1 and 2 hour. So the SPY too. It's going to be overbought. It's going to be overbought. This is what actually happens in a squeeze. But don't think because it's overbought it has to come down, okay? Now, where do we know the resistance is most likely to come in? Right up here. This is where the resistance is most likely going to come in, right around 529. Okay, but if you hit 529, you have to say, well, what's the chance it goes to 530 because people like round numbers. And I know that's silly, but people do like round numbers. NVIDIA is flying. Look at that, it's flying. All right, see, this is why we were saying a lot of this is just like treat it like a swing trader. 2 hour crosses up, positive territory, crosses up. You're in a squeeze environment. So that's why I wasn't trying to talk too much about this breaking down. We can be open to it. But as of right now, damn, that thing is taking off. Kind of scary to happen before earnings, honestly. See, I'm not fully familiar with dark pools. The main thing I know about dark pools is the shares are lent out shares, and right now they're lending out the shares, I think like 5 times as far as AMC and GME goes. So they're lending out more shares to then lend out shares again to then short those shares. So actually the short interest is 20%, but that's just what you see in front of you. God, my camera keeps turning off. But technically, if you look at it, there could be like $1 billion in shorts right now, and that's like crazy. Yeah, we can go over QQQ. You have a call at 449. Okay, so the resistance level is right above you. I want to point that out. You're overbought on a 2 hour, 449. Yes, Landon. Okay. So really, I would be quickly paying attention to a 15-minute. Look how overbought this is. And I would just say you do have room to go higher. You do, but we can take some time to get there. It's still pretty early on in the day, right? What if it just did this? Would this really hurt you? And then what if it did this? And then it came back up to that level. If you're scared of waiting for that, if you're in the money or anything like that, this is an area where they will take profit at 450.67. And then after that, if we get above it, 452.20. So I'd say purple line here, good area for the entire week. This is really what I encourage in the course, and we talk about these ranges a lot. This right here is all the options market priced in for the Qs this week. So if we go up to that line, that's where you expect some resistance, because this is all that's expected. So you have to think about it from a trading perspective. If I expect, let's say this, if I expect a stock to get to if I expect the Qs to get to 450, I'm at 449, and then I get there. Let's say a bunch of people expect it to get there, and then let's say it makes a big move out of it. Let's say it goes to 451. Well, I didn't even expect that to happen. Now I'm really in the green. Let me take some profit. Even if they don't take all of it out, they're still going to take some profit, and you're most likely going to see resistance at this level. What happened to all the hype? Your boy is trying to pump it up, and I am still in the plays. It's called holding, being patient. I am not. Why do I keep freezing? This is making me mad. AMC, very simple. It depends if you're treating it as a trader or as a investor. Here's what I found out about AMC. I don't have to really show you the chart. If the momentum confirms an upside move on a 30-minute, that's usually when the next big move comes. So if you see a 30-minute chart curl up on a MACD, that's when it usually comes. I have to keep this for my community, guys. If you're coming in for AMC GME, I respect it. I'm there with you. I haven't sold one bit. I bought more just now, actually. Not a lot. I think I put another 300 in. I'm leaving 200 more on the side. So That'll be my last scale in if I want to put in $200. But I am not, this channel is about learning and adapting and trading like water and trying to get better at trading and just doing something like that. It's not the best to be better at trading, in my opinion, but you can still notice if the 30-minute curls up on the MACD, that is a momentum signal that that momentum is going to take you higher. Okay, so a 30-minute crossing up on the MACD, and I have it up on my other screen, by the way, so I am notifying you of that. See, PCC's up, so this is what's going on. This is what's going on with AMC and GME, too, if this thing would hold up at higher levels. People are trying to short the market while the market goes higher. This can cause, if the market stays higher, those people to cover, and then the market goes even higher. That's a short squeeze. Bro, AMC is way down. Yeah, it is. That's what we said yesterday. We were calling this yesterday. When it reached that high right in the morning, I said, okay, selling's going to come in. The 30-minute's going to beat down. It's going to cross on the MACD. And then once it curls back up, that is the moment. Yeah, David, I mean, just because you seem like you're a little adamant about it, I'll show you what we said. All right, this is a 15-minute, but we said a 30-minute. This is the signal that I researched. All right? When it made a big rapid move up, what happened? It came way back down, and it curled back up. And it curled back up on this MACD. This was the signal for the next move higher. The confirmation of a green impression on the histogram. That was the signal. So, but I believe in the move. I'm not waiting for that signal because I believe in the move. I'm willing to put some skin in the game just to be a part of it for fun. And I scaled in again right at this level. So it is way down though, and that's very, very scary. You should not be using an amount of money that you cannot lose. I'm using, as of right now, $2,300. And I am willing to lose all of it. That's the amount I said, and 2,500 is the line in the sand for me. So, sorry, I got family. I can't do it. I make money trading, so I can't, lose 10 grand or something. It's just not. That's going to be a bad month for me. I don't want to get rid of all the gains I've had over the last month, pretty much. I don't want to lose all those gains. How's Tesla, Blood? Thank you for the Tesla puts call. There you go. Woo! Will there literally be no sell-off? There can be, but if people keep front-running, that's the problem. People keep front-running the sell-off. You want that to naturally come in, but your puts, people are buying puts way too early. So this is actually, like, if this comes back down, that's a bottoming signal, right? Usually when the puts are crossing back up, the price action is going down. So the fact that the price action is going up and puts are going up is going to cause more squeezing. Yeah, AMC CEO, that's going to really damper AMC. So you hope that just goes away quickly. You hope he's done with it and everything. He's so scummy with it too. Like, he does it every time the stock pumps. And the funny thing is, if you go look at their numbers, they have enough money. AMC has enough money to function for like the next 3 to 4 years with their with their payments, with their loans. So he doesn't necessarily need it, but I think he wants to be secure for sure for the next 3 to, I would say, 7 years. And so it's understandable from a business perspective, but it really hurts the movement. Kitty can tweet all he wants, GME is done. I'd be very cautious about saying those types of things because you're going to stop messaging those things if you're wrong. If you're right, that's fine. You're talking to a lot of people who are like, why are you getting mad at someone who is relatively, if you want to talk about relatively poor compared to the person you're fighting against? Like, why are you talking badly to another human being who's going through the same inflation that you're going through, who probably can't afford a house or whatever like that? Like, why would you talk badly about him? But the guy who's sitting there laughing and saying, I can't wait to take so much money from poor people, you're like, yeah, I'm with that guy. Like, get your priorities straight, bro. Like, I don't care if I lose all my money in this move. I'm not going to be the guy. I'm not losing frickin' $50,000, $20,000. I'm just like, I believe in the movement, and so I'm going to be a part of it. Well, that's the thing. It's pretty much, it's the last time. That's what I see from Kitty's subliminal messaging. Hold on. And put into stocks right now. Okay. Sorry, I thought you said I was going to get puts. And I was like, we just talked about this. If you try to short this right now, it's not good. I'm going to tell you guys when you can short this. Okay? When you can take a chance on a short, at least from a learning perspective, when's the best time to short in this move? The daily is what we have to look at. The daily momentum is taking over, and those shorts are causing the smaller time frames to never pull back. Okay, so when can I short this move? When would I think about shorting in this move? Well, anytime that selling comes in the next few days, if it happens soon, if this crosses down on the MACD, there's your opportunity. Now, what's going to happen? You're not going to catch the top, and you're not going to be able to play a day trade. This is why I do not day trade. It is very, very difficult in a squeeze environment. You pretty much just want to buy and see what happens by end of day. But this right here is, if this crosses over on the MACD, you have a steep divergence here, and you had all the divergences over here. You have a ton of divergence across this. So if that can curl over and go negative, then you have more confirmation. So if this crosses down, there's a signal. And if it goes negative, you can hold on to that. And then you want to pay attention to shorter time frames, but you could literally wait for this to cross on the MACD, take a 2-month out position, and you'll probably be at least down to here. And then boom, right here to here, there's a trade. But if you see something more dramatic, okay, boom, all the way down to, 494. Like, just, this is not something you necessarily want to try to short. Now, if you're trying to buy something, AMD has the divergence down here. If it continues to squeeze, now is this the best time? Like, this is where it's like pays to be an investor too. It's like a lot less risk if you're just investing in this or trading it with just shares. Because if you're trying to do options, then you have to look into the shorter time frames. And what are the shorter time frames telling you? Holy crap, what are we doing? We're just going higher and higher and higher. So where's the resistance coming for AMD? Well, look what we're doing right now. We're filling a cup. Maybe we get a little handle. Maybe we go up to 160.87. I don't like the emotions involved in the trading, sorry, but I get your point. What? Emotions. Oh, in the AMC thing? I have no emotion towards the money. Like, you're saying the emotions are causing me to put money in, and I'm going to lose, and that is going to make me upset. I'm telling you specifically, I'm putting money in that will not upset me to lose, but I'm doing it based on principle, and it actually makes me feel better. If I lost all my money and it didn't work out, I would still be like, I'm glad I did it. That's how I am. I really enjoy the Qs. I mean, I look at the futures for overnight signals and things like that. Overall, like 2 hours are good to pay attention to. Dailies can give you those crossings a little bit earlier, things like that. But what do you see in here? I mean, we're probably going up. Like I have a good channel here actually for the US 100. So what can we do? We can react up for a long time. We can go get another test of this channel before we want to drop down. Right, we're on the weekly side. You're crossing up on the MACD. If this wants to cross up for a few weeks, that can happen. And then you could see weakness come in at higher levels. So I do like it because it's cleaner for channels and things like that, and I'll pay attention to it. But I just know most people are probably looking at SPY, Qs, Apple, that, like the charts that are trading all the time. Lindsay Hahn! Gosh, you have half of my last name. So close. Thank you for joining. Thank you for subscribing. Yeah, Marina, I really love you being here, and I understand what you're saying, and I think some people can really take that advice. If you're using an amount that you're going to be upset about at the end of the day, it would be very, very diligent to downsize that a little bit. Do not throw the house at AMC. Do not throw the house at any trade, actually. Like if you want to be honest, don't throw the house at any trade. What do we talk about in the course? Well, we talk about using if you're just starting out and you have $10,000, you probably should only have like $1,000 if you're going to do options, and you should probably only dedicate maybe $150 to $200 towards your first contract. And that's all you should do, right? Most important principle is to make your money, earn money, put it to work. Don't just hold and hope. Yeah, I'm not. And that's the thing, too. It's like, oh, I got some hope. I'm like, it's cool. But my hope isn't that I make a bunch of money. Do you understand? Like, that's more the mentality I'm getting at here. I'm watching videos that say, so-and-so lost $1.5 billion yesterday. Those are the videos I'm watching. Now, because I know that a lot of people need to make money in this move, I'm going to give you levels to pay attention to. IBIT ETF. Yikes, Richard. Freaking, I don't even know that guy's name. IBIT, I've never looked at this. Oh, the Bitcoin. Okay. Well, this is going to follow Bitcoin behavior. So what would you say about this? Well, maybe a 2-hour looks pretty good here. I think it's a 2-hour looks pretty good. Yeah, 2-hour curling up, positive territory. This is what you want to see. Now you can see a big move, maybe. Pretty much you'd be saying, this to me might just be a classic ABC, where you run into resistance. Oh, look at that, ABC. So I'd say this high is where you're going to run into some problems. And then maybe you want a head and shoulders on your way up. Now, you did build liquidity here. So you have the potential for, if Bitcoin just makes that move, you could see another gap up above this area. Pay attention to that. But if we make this move up to here, you'd expect that resistance. Go get more liquidity, more liquidity. This would be a great liquidity grab if we dip down right here. Let's look. I can look at the daily scale for it real quick. Yeah, that crossed up. I mean, that crossed up. That's really all you can say. I mean, I guess you could draw like a little resistance level up here if you wanted to and say, okay, up there, maybe you create like a wonky left head. You come up to here, it's kind of a slanted head and shoulders, and then you see that breakout. If you break through this, that'd be pretty bullish because this would be fully going positive. But, I mean, I would just pay attention to Bitcoin. If that setup looks good on a 4-hour or a daily, I would think that's the one to pay attention to there. I'm not going to speculate on a pullback during a short squeeze because that's going to convince a lot of people to take shorts. I know, because like me, when I talk about a pullback, a lot of the time when I talk about a pullback, I'm not playing the short side, or I'm just like hedging for it with a small amount of money, even just like $500. I know that a lot of people are trying to find the top, and so a pullback is likely. Like a pullback is likely, but the shorter time frames are not going to help you too much. Okay? The thing that you want to see for a dramatic pullback or some kind of, actual pullback in this move is going to be this daily crossing over. It's the same thing, right? So up in this level, maybe we react all the way up into here, and then you see that cross down. Once that crosses, that's when we could say, okay, this is going to be a more dramatic pullback. But until then, what are you going to do if you just pull up an hourly? Well, what do? We scoop down to the center line, we curl up into positive territory, positivity comes, and look, it's squeezing. You're not even getting a pullback in the move, right? You're not getting a dramatic pullback in the move to get close to that center line and then curl up. So these aren't trades that I would take because I still like my breakouts, right? I still like this to happen, this to happen, this to happen, and then I go, boom, and then I cross through this level. This is just trickling up, this is squeezing, and I'm not in the move at lower levels, right? I traded some stocks at lower levels. I made good money. Pretty much last month and during the squeeze, I made really good money, right? We talked about my NVIDIA play, my Microsoft play, my, I can't remember what other plays I took, but those were all good plays. This here would be, if you get lucky and find the top, okay. I'm telling you, I'm not going to short anything until I see this daily MACD roll over. I'm not. I'm going to be very, very patient because I know myself well enough. I know short squeezes, and I know I've been hurt a lot by short squeezes, guys. I've been hurt by short squeezes before. And what did I learn? Once I get the initial move, after that move, my next trade isn't the bet. I'm always trying to find a top. At least the first time I saw a short squeeze, literally the first time I saw a short squeeze, I kept trying to find the top. And you know what happened? 3 trades went against me in 1 month, and I ruined my previous month. So I'm going to wait till the signals are clear. You don't have to trade every day. We can expect to reach 17,000 again. I mean, yeah, eventually. When this happens, maybe. Right? Now, when this happens, yes. Right? If we get a weekly to turn up and then that crosses back down, that would be a triple divergence up here. That's when you can start to be like, okay, if I complete a triple divergence and that confirms on the weekly, that is when I would say, okay, we have crash potential. But that could draw out for a long time. We could go like this, we could have a few weeks like this, then we have a few weeks like this, and it goes up like this, and we hit 2,000, and then it drops down. Right? So it can take a lot of time. So I'm not going to try to front run any weekly signal, especially because that's going to take a lot of time. I'm going to wait till these things prove. If the daily turns over on this MACD, I will most likely be short for a period of time and paying attention to the 2 hour. If that curls up at any time, that's how I would get screwed. So I would pay attention to this. And for the US 100 here, the futures, 4 hours, very, very good. Look at that 4 hour. It looks pretty much like the 2 hour in a regular stock. So if we do see that daily crossover, I can go, okay, cool. Or if I see the 4 hour crossover, I can front run it. And then if that just curls back up at any time, then I won't be in that move anymore. So you can front run it a little bit, like on a 2 hour for the Qs, but I just would very much so not encourage that in this environment. Look at the direction is very, very positive. Very positive. We could go on a streak, by the way. The last time we saw behavior like this, at least in the SPY, sorry, I don't know if it was the Qs, but I know it's in the SPY. What do we have here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days above, like going above the 5-day moving average, right? This is from the bottom here from the squeeze potential. So technically we've been squeezing for about 9 days. The potential for the squeeze is 5 more days. So do you really want to risk this happening for 5 days or just this happening for 5 days? I'm not going to risk that. I'm going to wait for this signal, and then I will start to change my talking points. Yeah, it was at neutral, and that was a big reason I was like, squeeze potential is there. So I looked at the fear and greed index. It was right in the middle. Where's it at right now? And the VIX is telling you, still fear is kind of being sucked out of the market. Once that gets to extreme greed, you can start to read into these shorter time frame signals. I'll tell you that. Once that starts to get to a reading of about 77, 78, that's when we can start to read into those signals on the shorter time frames. And that's when we'll be talking about that. Yes, it can remain flat the whole time. Here, maybe I need to do this. This might help a little bit. Let's look for the last time we were really riding up and the 30-minute just remained like in a squeeze, right? Let's look at this squeezing here. What happened? Do you notice that it just keeps going? It's overbought, it's way overbought. Now it's coming down. Right, it comes down for a brief moment, then it's overbought. So this is still pretty much where the 5-day moving average is, by the way, right here. So you're just riding the 5 all the way up. You get one brief move down, that could convince you it's going to crash down. And then we ride up, and then we get a test of the 20, and then we ride up, right? So these are squeezes, right? And you have the potential for all of this to just keep going. You notice it's just overbought for a very, very long time. So 30 minutes, not going to be the best thing to pay attention to in a squeeze. You can pay attention to a 2 hour a little bit. You can pay attention to a 4 hour, but I would really think about the daily. If you're thinking of when to go short for this week, please think about looking at these ranges. We gravitate towards them, and look at this. Isn't this like a magnet? It's like a magnet right now. And then we go up to here. This would be an area where it makes a little bit of sense, but do you have other reasons to take the trade? I'm not taking any trades until I have 5 reasons in this environment. And I'm being very, very patient and probably looking at a daily scale. I appreciate it, guy. Like, I really do appreciate the questions about it, the trying to make money. Like, I know you're trying, but it's an opportunity to just be patient. Don't do anything crazy. if you would like to scale into a move, you need to be paying attention to volatility, right? Look at volatility on a 30-minute. Is that saying that volatility is going to increase right now? Hell no, that ain't saying it's increasing. It's not even close to the center line. So why would I ever buy a short here? Now, what can I pay attention to here? This is a signal I can pay attention to. If I see a 2-hour start to hit 12.12, hey, I can start to get a hedge position. And then if I see this 2-hour create this divergence here, well, that would be almost like a triple divergence. Well, pretty much you'd have a divergence all the way across, right? You'd have a divergence on the MACD like all the way across, and then that gets a little bit more rapid. This is when I would pay attention. But as of right now, you're squeezing. You can just, it's a bullish market. It's a bullish market. So what you're kind of hoping for as a trader is that I can trade in this bullish market. Meaning what? The 2-hour curls down and goes back into positive territory. This didn't curl down really. We're just still moving up while this MACD just goes flat. So I would like to see a pull back, right? I would like to see a pull back. Your opportunity was flatness. And here's the thing too, and I should have mentioned this, I really should have. But you knock on the door a few times, right? We knock once, we knock twice, and then we almost get there. People go short. We don't take out the low. The third time's the charm. Boom. It's a bullish market. This, if anything, should tell you to go long right here. And that's crazy, right? This is a short squeeze. And now all those retailers are, all those retail traders who are trying to find that top are going to lose money throughout this whole move. And right when they give up, this thing's going to hit resistance maybe. So if you're going to look at anything, I don't want you to lose a bunch of money. I would say highly pay attention to right here, 529. And then I would be looking if we get data the rest of the week. Building permits, is that really going to shake things up? Fed speakers can shake things up, right? So do we get a Fed speaker today? I think we get Kashkari at 11. So we get Kashkari in an hour. Kashkari in an hour, he might say, yeah, what if he changes his tone? Like, you don't know what he's going to say. Maybe you want to watch Kashkari and see if he says rate cut. And maybe you want to take a chance and buy a small position here, right? That would make more sense to me. Like, from a learning perspective, this is not what I want to fight against right now. I'm not losing a moving average. I'm not doing anything. This would make more sense to me. And then you see what Kashkari says, and if he pulls the market down for you, that's great. But he could just flip the script. What if Jerome Powell goes up to him and says, hey, why the hell are you talking bearish? Stop it. You don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to fight against it. Weekly top. Let's look at NVIDIA. I'll pull up the charts here. Sorry, my ad blocker popped up for a second. Let me look at the NVIDIA chart. See, this is where NVIDIA can experience resistance right when everyone starts to get bullish. Let's see if calls start to trickle in towards that level for NVIDIA. If calls start, if this flips, if the PCC flips, and we start to see that drop a little bit, if we see the PCC drop a little bit, that would make a lot of sense. NVIDIA heading up towards that weekly expected move, we're gravitating towards it. All right, what could happen from here? Well, we could see that resistance come in as long as the PCC flips. This right here isn't flipping yet. If that can flip below a reading of 1 and then flip below the reading of 0.95, that would be the moment to really be like, okay, now the call side's coming in. But initially, this is actually a bullish thing. And then once you get down into these areas, that's when you start to be a contrarian. It crosses back up. That usually signifies some kind of top. As of right now, people are trying to short in a short squeeze, which is what happens. It's a short squeeze. So I'm not playing anything. But that you're right where resistance can come in, but just fair warning. Fair warning there. People are still trying to short this, and if they continue to short at that extreme amount and the price just holds higher, they're going to go underwater and they're going to be forced to cover. They're going to be forced to flip the script, and then that could cause more bullishness. Ooh, NVIDIA starting to see little wicks, right? 5 minute, Could that curl over? We haven't gotten a 5-minute pullback in a while. But maybe we create a 5-minute divergence outside of the range. That would be more of a signal to pay attention to, right? So let me go over NVIDIA. So where it's at right now, it's getting close to the range, but it's not there. So if we see a 5-minute resistance come in, what could happen from here for NVIDIA at 942? Well, if we see any kind of resistance come in, or this just moves sideways, right? And then you see it pop up, then you have divergence. Now you have multiple reasons to take a trade. You're outside of a range, you have 5-minute divergence. That's a reason to take a trade. But right now you don't really have a reason. You're in a short squeeze, and I highly suggest not fighting that right now. Wait for the signals to add up. Look at this, the 5-minute crossed here on the SPY. What happened? We went up. So this area here is what I would pay attention to. Man, I hope people don't keep shorting this. It's just going to keep going up and up and up if they keep shorting, and eventually they'll have to cover, and then you can see that craziness happen. So that's something we could talk about as well. If you're going to see a ballistic move, we get outside of this, you can then use this level as support to actually head higher, because people squeeze this all the way up, and then now it builds back up liquidity. This turns into support. Not a good thing to do. I've tried to do it before. I've lost a whole month's profit in one other month because of a short squeeze. I've learned my lesson. That's why you hear me. I'm like, it still looks like a squeeze to me, so I'm not going to play anything because I have a CPI data, so I didn't know if we would keep squeezing. I didn't know if that was bad news, but now we're going to keep squeezing. So no reason for me to take the play there. I would understand it if you want to try it for NVIDIA. I understand it. Keep a stop in place. You know, do like a 1% up or something like that. Risk. We'll go over at these real quick. I should look at GME. Let's find a level for GME, by the way. And NVIDIA, let's watch that. Where's that range for NVIDIA? What, 946-ish? 946 is when you expect resistance to come in. I want a 3-minute, what the fuck? I mean, you most likely will see resistance come in here. This is a big upward move, and this would be a profit-taking resistance, in my opinion. It's when they get too excited to the upside, that's when you can start to go. Because if it pulls back, those shorts are gonna be like, okay, maybe I get out, and then that bounces, they go underwater, and they say, I'm done. And then right when they're done with like a 5-minute divergence, that's when the real resistance can come in. That's when the selling can actually pile up a little bit. GME, let's look at that max pain for the week. Lots of calls coming in for GME. Honestly, as far as shorts go, for a short squeeze, weirdly enough, AMC looks a little bit better, but there are a lot of puts in there. The total put volume, put open interest is 205,000 for GME. Ratio of 0.72, and AMC, the ratio is 261,000 on the put open interest, and you have about a 0.74. So AMC is the one that looks a little bit more so. And weirdly enough, your call wall could be 4, your put wall is 3. But as this thing gets cheaper, we might see some people actually put in money. But, you know, the fact that people are fighting against a short squeeze means that retail traders are probably losing a bunch of money right now, which means they have less money to put into meme stocks, right? So. NVIDIA's getting there. And NVIDIA's getting there. We'll see if that resistance comes in for NVIDIA. 946. If we get that resistance right before, that's what we can pay attention to on a 5-minute. And I would encourage you, hey, it's like, okay, if you're someone who does like day trading or something, you probably understand this. A 5-minute chart curling down, curling back up, right? This is what you want to see to enter a trade here, right? That's what you would like to see. This is just like swing trading, pretty much 101. Beat down to the center line, curls back up, cross on the MACD. Beat down to the center line, curls back up on the RSI. You see the price action get above the moving averages. And then you can hold that, see if it breaks through the high, breaks through the high, gets above that weekly range. You know, hey, I'm going to sell here. Boom, divergence. So pretty much you could go, what, 946 or something like that? Pretty much 946. So what I would look for is this to do this, right? And then curl back up and do this. And then that would be a sign of weakness and momentum on a shorter time frame. But right now, you really want to fight against that? Whew, that's a bullish move. I would not fight too much against that. I'm not going to take that play. I'm not taking any plays. Nope, I'm waiting until it's obvious. I can sit and play around and talk to you guys and hang out and look at charts and wait until volatility is up above 16, and then I can start to play. Gold and silver are flying. Tesla divergence. Let's look at Tesla. Tesla had some interesting stuff going on here. So you see, you don't even have a 5-minute divergence, but what is happening? See, so this is going the opposite way. So this is what we're saying for like NVIDIA to happen. If this can do this and then curl back down, well, then you have a reason for some kind of play, right? You can pay attention to a weekly range. Are we going to get close to the weekly range? Anything like that? No, we're not close to the weekly range. So that could be it for Tesla, honestly, but we're not close to the weekly range to take an upside play. That's why I'm saying, and we're in negative territory on the 5-minute. This is the setup you want to see. Look at this. Okay, so this is the setup you want to see. The weekly range is right in here. The weekly range is pretty much at these wicks. All right, what do I see up here? I see one form of weakness. I see another form of weakness. The point of this is, technically that's not divergence because it reads the bottom of the bar when it's red, right? So this is going to read the bottom of that bar. But what can you take from this? That's curling down into negative territory on this bar, right? On this one bar here. This would say, hey, take a little short play. All right, 2.5 points down. Boom. Now, what are you going to do? Well, we're overbought. Okay, we're going to curl back up, and then we can see if that has another drop left in it. Okay, now if this reverses too, if this reverses, good potential for lower high, good potential for lower high. We want to see that get close to the center line and curl back down. That's how you do it. You can do that on any chart. But just know on a 5-minute chart, you can see some crazy stuff. On a 30-minute chart, you're going to see less crazy stuff. And are we by the center line yet? No. So if I wanted to be patient with this, make money in the first move, and then take whatever and say, I'm going to let the rest run. Maybe we retest the broken down level right here. We go like this, right? Retest, and then we start to break down a little bit further, get closer to the center line. If that curls up at any time, this is a positive trend for Tesla. If this curls up at any time, take a curl up right now, you're probably going to see another positive move. But I think this has some room to the downside before it curls back up. And now someone might be going, oh, room to the downside, take puts. No, that's not how you do it. You have to wait for the opportunity. You have to wait till the pricing of those options is good. Like I'm trying to find out if you, like on a 5-minute, if we can really see how to get into this move. Yeah, there's your curl down on this bar right here. So it's the same as the 30-minute, weirdly enough. So if that resistance comes in before, we can pay attention to a divergence. I did not look at SMCI yet, actually. I should. Bam! Look at that move. Now, this is important. We broke through our important zone. What do we like to do a lot of the time when we break through an important zone? Okay, we break through a little bit. We come back inside it to gain those buyers. Then we curl back up. This is very, very positive. The chance for a V-shaped drop, not necessarily there, unless we get something like geopolitical or something. Give GME a senzu bean. You know what the problem is? I started to pack up, and the first thing I did was I cleaned off my desk, and I got rid of the money cat. I don't know what it's called. The little money cat. I got rid of the money cat off my desk, and that's why. I'm sorry, guys. That's why all your shorts are undervalued. I got to get that money cat back up. You guys really want my new office to be set up? Can we look at Apple? Yes, we can. Apple, that's a rapid squeeze. Okay. Now, this is outside of the weekly expected move. I totally understand if you took a shot on this, but if I was paying attention to this, I would pay attention to how I could get screwed. 15-minute gets close to the center line. You always have to be paying attention to how you can get screwed. It will make you a great trader. Really will. What am I seeing now? Divergence is forming. Has that confirmed? No. No, it has not. If that confirms, then I can start to be a little bit like, okay. I did not buy a house. No. I actually, so the reason that I was looking into buying a house, even though the environment to buy a house is still not good, even in Kansas where prices are cheap, I still don't want to have a bad investment. And I think that we are going to go through some kind of housing crisis, some kind of crash where people default a lot. So I think that houses will be really, really cheap in like a year or two. So I was looking into a house because I have a pit bull and I have a husky German shepherd. And they do not allow that anywhere here for renting. So that's why I was looking into buying a house. No. Not lose the coin. We still have the coin. All right, 50-50 flip. Will Apple close back within its weekly expected move by Friday? Ready? Ready? All right, heads is yes, tails is no. Will Apple close back inside of its weekly expected move by Friday close? Flipping it. Heads, yes. Apparently, Apple's going to close back within its range by the end of the week, according to the 50-50 coin. Remember, that is a black or red trade. I actually was looking in Tampa, but we got pregnant. So actually what happened was I moved to Georgia. We were staying with my wife's family for a little bit, and we were planning on moving to Florida. But right when we got to Georgia, we found out we were pregnant. I don't want to raise my family in a big city, and especially in a city I don't know too much about. I do like Tampa. I have a friend that's going to live in Tampa soon from the Air Force. My buddy in Okinawa, he's going to live in Tampa soon. His brother lives there now, and so that's why I was going to move there. But no, wait for the signal to confirm, guys. That would tell you the coin's right, by the way. So I was going to move to Tampa, but when we were pregnant, the city here, Kansas, is a great place to raise a kid. It really is. It's nice people. I know the people, so I know people are nice. I know the area. I know what schools to send her to. I know all that stuff. So it's a lot better. Ask coin if AMC hits 100. Let's do. Does AMC hit 100 by Friday? Yes, is heads. Shit. It was tails. Fuck. All right. Does AMC hit 100 by the end of the month? Big one. Ah, shit. No. Maybe it's going to end up higher. No. That tells you maybe the coin's not getting it right because they know that the big guys have enough money to push it down. Bitcoin hit 65K. Nice. Let's keep an eye on. I'm going to keep an eye on Apple. This is an opportunity, guys. This is an opportunity. I know that's a big move up. If this 15-minute can cross here, this is a trade that I would normally take on a Wednesday. On a Wednesday morning, this is a trade I would normally take if the 15-minute divergence is there. Let me see if it's on a 30. If it's on a 30, you have flatness, and you have a divergence across the way here. This is reversal potential. It is reversal potential for Apple, so I'm going to leave it here. If this crosses, that's when you take the play. You do not want to fight this right now. You're going to fuel the fire if you fight this right now. What you want is the first pullback to then get a bunch of people to go short, and then you see some kind of bounce, and then you can scale in again, and then you see that drop off. You need this to cross down. right? This is what we're learning about. When to take the trade. When is the time? Remember Amazon, when was the time? The time was up there when we had the divergences on the 15-minute. Now what do we have? We have the potential for it, but it hasn't confirmed. If it confirms, you take a chance. If that goes negative, you can stay in the trade. But if that curls up at any time, you're out, right? So right now, you have a lot of reasons to take the trade, right? So let's go over some of those reasons. What are we doing? We're in a sell zone. Reason number one. We're in a sell zone. All right. What else? Well, let's see. We have the weekly expected move in this area, and we're outside of it. 68% chance we do land below. That's two reasons. What's the other reason? Well, we have divergence forming. It hasn't confirmed yet, so I can't really count that as a reason yet. But if that does confirm, I'm ready to react. So I will count that as a reason to pay attention. And we'll say that is a 3 with a question mark, right? I want to make sure to be waiting until that actually happens. Because I don't want to be one of the guys that buys puts early and then force this thing even higher. So I want to wait. This is going to be a great trade setup. It actually already is. There's 3 reasons right there. We're in a sell zone. Do we have resistance at this level? You know? Yes, we do. At this exact price, we had a resistance come in. At this exact price, we got above it, we got excited, and that was given away pretty quickly. There is resistance at this level. For a 15-minute, let's maybe look at a 2 hour. 2 hours probably better. When's the last time we dropped dramatically? Right here, right where the price is, right? Right where the price is, that's where we experienced a dramatic drop. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, 5-minute. Didn't want a 5-minute. If you want, you can wait for a 5-minute divergence, though. But sometimes you miss out on the move, because it doesn't have to show up on a 5-minute. I'm going to leave this up. I'm going to leave this up because it's a great example. This channel is about learning and helping. This both helps and helps you learn. So right there, I was able to make 4 reasons. What else could I come up with? Can I come up with another reason? SPY's getting up towards its weekly expected move, and it's outside of its monthly right now. Maybe those 2 things together, I could say that's a decent reason. Maybe I want to pay attention to the Qs, because I am trading a tech stock, right? Apple's a tech stock. So maybe I want to pay attention to the Qs. The Qs are hitting their weekly range. There's your 5 reasons. Boom. You have 5 reasons to take a trade with Apple if that can confirm on a 15-minute. And then what do you want to do? You want to see, is the 15-minute going negative? Then you can stay in the move. Then you want to make sure, is the 30-minute crossing down and going negative? Then you can just keep going up on the timelines. So you say, okay, now the 30-minute, the 15-minute's negative. Now the 30-minute cross. Now the 30-minute's negative. Now is the 2-hour crossing. Now is the 2-hour negative. And then you can keep holding it down and move that stop every single time. There are going to be bounces and moves, though. So I highly encourage, as you do move up through the time frames, you look at the previous time frame and see how you can get screwed. What's the monthly for the SPX? I don't have it on the chart, but I do have the monthly expected move on, or sorry, monthly? All right, let me double click there. Did you say monthly? I'll give you the monthly this week. I think I really want to help people out if you're losing money on AMC or GME right now. I'm going to help you out so you can maybe make some money, and then maybe you can take another contract or something like that for your fun play, right? Make some good money. Make sure you are in the green for the week before you go play that stuff. Make sure you're not playing with an amount that you're willing to lose, or make sure you are playing with an amount you're willing to lose. Make sure you're not using an amount that's going to make you emotional about it and be like pissed off. You can, hope something good. And I would say take option plays if you're going to do options. Make sure to take those well into the future. All right, let's pull up a weekly expected move. I'm going to give that for today. Nobody really asked about the SPX, and you're asking for a monthly. So 5,243.51 to the upside. 5,243.51. You're actually outside of it. You're outside of the monthly expected move, which makes sense. The SPY outside of the monthly expected move. Now the SPY is a little bit lower than these, so they do come up a tiny bit different. So the Q seeing resistance. Where do we see the resistance? Let's go look at a 5-minute. Uh-oh, isn't that interesting? Wow, magical line. Magical line. Look how magical. Now you start to add up some reasons. Now I would say 4. You have 4 of those reasons completing. So it's like maybe 1 contract. Get a very good price on 1 contract, right? Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I front run it with just 1 contract. So I have 1 contract that makes the price really good. And then if that 15-minute takes a little bit of time to confirm, okay, that's what's up. But as of right now, are we seeing that? I don't want to fuel the fire. I know I'm in a short squeeze. So this isn't necessarily the environment to do that. I would really wait for that confirmation. But Q's, magical line, giving us some resistance. Crazy how that happens, isn't it? No sound. That might be on your end. Wait. No sound? Can you guys hear me? John, I'm sorry. It seems laggy. I need to exit out of some stuff or something. I can't wait to get my new setup up. I really can't wait. I am so excited to get my new setup. I am so excited. I can finally put my... I have another one of these laptops. It's just like better. Can't wait. I am so excited for that. Okay, thank you. Okay, just me then. Sorry, John. May just refresh. Thank you guys for reassuring me. Snowflake. Hey, welcome, Elijah. I don't think I've seen your name too often. I like the name Elijah. I sold and made 550 off of a 1,000 on the QQQ. Made 550 off of 1,000, so that's like 55. Well, yeah, it's like almost pretty much 55%, right? Nice job, Landon. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's weird, but in a short squeeze, it's literally like once you see that gravitation break through, you literally can like take a call and just play the top side. But that's not how my strategy works, so I never do it. Let's go back over to Apple, see if this 15 minutes is going to add up to anything. Great work. New sub. Thank you, Professor Stock. I know this is probably a different style that not a lot of people are too aware of. I think people know about divergences and know about these things, but I really made this strategy, at least myself, I made this strategy. Maybe I'm sure someone else has done this style before, but I really like the weekly ranges, divergence, and reversal strategies. Even for bounces and things like that, I really like it. First day here, just chilling. Elijah, welcome. AMC 15-minute. Let's go look at AMC for a split second. People are saying it's bouncing. I do have it up on my other screen, but it'd be fun for you guys to see if this 15-minute can curl up. Now, here's the thing. What would I say? What would I say here? If this can curl up, that's great. If this can curl up, we need to pay attention to the 15-minute. If it can go positive, I can remain in that move. Then what do I want to pay attention to from there? If the 30-minute crosses up, notice how that's by the center line. What did we say yesterday in the morning? Yesterday in the morning, we said this is going to fade. And last time it didn't do all this dramatics, right? So they're really trying to keep this down. And I think the problem might be worse this time based on the expected moves. I'm going to give you guys the expected moves. Remember, we just gravitated towards it. It is not a guarantee. It is a big effing range. Do not think that the price of the stock has to get here. But I will show you those expected moves. Pretty much I would read into maybe the one for the end of the month. The one for this week, I wouldn't read into it. And just remember, this doesn't mean it has to get there. If we squeeze, then you can start to gravitate towards it. This is telling you this is where it's expected to go from the options market, according to yesterday, or according to 2 days ago implied volatility. The implied volatility has doubled. So what does this mean? This means that the price of the stock could head up to this level, but the range is actually -2. So you could end up at 0 technically, and it would make sense. You could end up at 0 technically, and it would make sense for AMC based on these ranges. But these are the levels that was calculated by the options market. I'm just making the calculation. I'm just doing the calculation just like we did for the Qs. You saw the Qs just hit their weekly expected move. Now, we did just flip the coin. The coin said, hell no, I'm not even getting to 100. But if it got to 20, if it got to 22, it makes total sense. That's within the range. I don't want you to get excited and be like, this has to go up there. I'm just giving you these levels as if this move happens and you really need to make money. If you are someone who really needs to make money out of this, first of all, I respect the YOLO play. I do. I understand maybe you're in a tough spot and you have $200 to your name and you're like, I really need to make money out of this. You might want to take profit at some point where, you know, find a number that you really, really need. And if you exceed that number, maybe you take half that out and then you let the rest run. But these are levels to pay attention to for resistance. And the funny part about these levels is if I zoom out, what do they line up with? Resistance, resistance, resistance. So it makes total sense. It makes sense. Do I think this will happen? As of right now, no. As of right now, no. But I want you guys to have some levels to pay attention to. That is to help. That is not to encourage you to take a play all the way to 200. That is to help you if the move happens. Right now, the 15-minute starting to fade looks kind of flaggy to me. I want to pay attention to, is this actually going to cross or am I going to get screwed? Well, 5 minutes still negative. You need that to go positive before you see any kind of positivity. I know, someone came in and they're like, you're saying 200? That's freaking psycho. It's like, I'm just doing the calculation, okay? Oh, shut the frick up, Laws. Are you kidding me? Hi, I have a June 20 puts for the Qs I'm trapped in. Should I cut my losses now or wait until the end of the month to at least break even? If you lose all of the money, are you going to lose your shirt? If you lose all of the money that you have to shorts, the better question is like, what breaks you even? Actually, yeah, that's the question. What breaks you even? What price can you find out what price point breaks you even anytime before, pretty much like in the next month, because we're most likely going to get a pullback at some point here. But I'm just telling you, we're in squeeze environment, so that pullback might be nothing. Can you you can't even move that position because you're probably underwater pretty good. A lot of the time if I'm taking a heavy loss, there is a moment where I go, I need to cut my losses and look for the next trade setup. I will say that. But in this environment, you can see things flip around very quickly. We're reaching a weekly expected move. This is where resistance can come in. But if we keep squeezing, like I said, if people keep putting puts into the market, right? Look at us, we're testing it again. If we keep knocking on this door, we can bust through. AD, I'm trying to help you out. It's hard in that situation because that is a personal thing. And a lot of the time, my trades are like, I usually don't allow a lot of my trades to lose 50%. Unless I know I'm scaling in and it's not a squeeze environment. This is a squeeze environment. Exactly. See, Happy Friday is right, too. You don't really have a dramatic pullback catalyst. If anything, you would just say very overbought, pullback necessary, but is that just going to climb higher? The next thing to pay attention to might just be like FOMC, GDP, NVIDIA earnings. So very, very tough there. And I'm sorry that that is happening to you. When did you go short, if you don't mind me asking, AD? What day did you go short? Amazon call 185, went ahead and sold, now waiting to sell my AMC call. Yeah, if you have a Friday expiration, I'd be very, very cautious with AMC and GME. I understand. Like I am saying, like I'm buying into this move. The 15-minute looks like it's going to curl up. Remember this, guys. Remember this. The volatility for this is extremely high. Extremely high. Am I lagging? I feel like my voice is lagging too. Dang it. This thing sucks. We're going to do a breakdown in a moment. Yeah, unemployment's what you got to pay attention to. Remember, that's what I'm saying, unemployment. I bought 420 strike puts when the price was 427 on May 2nd. So if this curls up, remember the volatility here is high, so you could see a big reaction. So I would maybe be patient, see if this 15 minutes is able to curl up. But if you start to break below 437, you got to cut the loss for sure there. And then see if there's a way to take another position. But you don't necessarily want to chase, right? That's why I'm like playing with an amount of money I don't care about, because I don't want to be chasing or anything or be worried. Notice I have the charts up on my left, but I'm not like worried in any way. Calls on ARM before NVIDIA earnings. Let me look at this for AD real quick. 420 strike, 427 May 2nd. Ooh, okay. Were you subscribed at this point? So I'm gonna teach you something because it's very difficult to tell you what to do because you're in a short squeeze. It's very difficult to tell you exactly what to do. A lot of the time, if I am hating a trade and it is making me hurt on the inside, I will probably get out of that trade, right? Like you notice, AMC, I'm perfectly fine holding that trade. It's not hurting me at all. It's my fun play for the month, right? Everyone knows I take fun plays like once a month. So here's what I'd say. This is a time to learn. And this bar right here is your signal to not take any more downside to the short side. This would be your signal to get out of that trade. And you even got to dip down to kind of lose a little bit less. And I just wanted to point that out. Oh, is he on the Qs? Oh, he's on the Qs. I'm sorry. Yeah, still the same thing. This here, right? We're in the zone. Yeah, you can see a sell-off. But remember, if you were subscribed to this channel, I was like, once we get up here, squeeze potential is very high. So when we gapped above here, that's when we were like, the squeeze is on. So this is where the squeeze could happen. This is where you can go to all-time highs. Now we're at all-time highs, right? We're at new all-time highs. So we were right this whole time. Damn, if I would have just known I was going to be right, you know. But I sold after this move right here. I sold just in case there was a pullback to then head higher. But this is where I sold. Tried to short it once. It didn't work out. So I really haven't been taking too many plays. I think overall I've made a bunch of money on this move. So I lost, I think, one or two very small trades, just hedges pretty much. And but this here is your signal like, hey, don't take any downside according to the 2 hour. And that's because you're above this level right here. So that's a way to learn. As far as cutting your losses now, it's going to probably feel like a time where you cut your losses and then you actually get a pullback. You're outside of the monthly, okay? So that's why I'm asking, like, is it a huge amount? Is it a massive amount? Like, that's going to really hurt you if you hold on to it and see what happens? Because I would hate to tell you, like, yeah, scale out. I mean, now me, emotionally, if it's emotionally causing me trouble, stress, you don't want to be stressed in trading stocks, right? Do you have an opportunity to scale in a little bit, actually, just in case? Like, with a small amount, you also don't, like, I don't know the amount of money, so it's just, like, it's difficult to say. I can tell you right now, the 2 hour is very overbought. We had bad PPI numbers, so they're right. Jobs data might pull that down. His entire savings, oh, fuck. Shit. Fuck, dude. Fuck. Oh, god damn it. Guys. It was an option play? Fuck, you can make so much money off of 60 grand. Like I'm saying not 60 grand. I'm saying you could only risk 6 grand and make so much money trading over time. They expired June 20th. He has a little bit of time. Fuck. Oh, god damn it. Okay. Do you have a job? Do you have a job? Do you make money still on the side? Anything like that? I think you relax. You chill. I think you relax. You chill. You acknowledge the fact that you made a mistake first. Acknowledge the fact that you made a mistake first. And You pray to God, right? But I don't think you sell it. I don't think you sell it. And I could be totally wrong, right? Do not take that as like, make your own decision. But in this type of environment and using your whole life savings, I think you try. I really think you try to see if sell in May and go away happens and see if you can at least get a pullback to make back another 10, 15 grand. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think you could probably make back at least another 10 to 15 grand. You got to learn from that moment, though. Got to learn from that moment, but I think you wait and see if some kind of pullback. You're hitting a weekly expected move. The probabilities for this week are telling you that we close down here in this area. The probabilities for the rest of this month are we close lower. Okay, so this is pretty much a gamble as well. This is pretty much a gamble, but I would really hope that those probabilities prove itself. Yeah, and I'm sorry for cursing a bunch and probably making your emotions not feel better. Please tell me you're still here. Where is he? AD. I think it's okay. I think you're fine. I would really pay attention to signals. So what I would pay attention to is this. Okay? Here's what you do over the next few days. If you see volatility curl back up and you see this divergence confirm, you hold that shit. I think people are right. AD, are you still here? God damn it, I freaked him out. Fuck, my bad. Thank you so much. No, I was impacted by a layoff recently and I thought this was my break. Okay, what I'm going to encourage you to do is I want you to really focus on these videos, and I want you to ask a lot of questions in this chat. I want you to just not worry about it. Use the amount of time here that we're talking about these things to learn from that experience, okay? Learn from it too, and then pay attention. If this volatility is able to turn back up and go positive, hold on to that, okay? So be patient for a couple more days, all right? Be patient for a couple more days. And then if something really bad happens, I'm going to have you email me. Because you could double bottom right now. This thing could curl up and go positive. Now we want to find other signals for you. We got to really pay attention. The 15 minutes far away. So we might get a pop in volatility. You might see one more jump up. Okay, so we might get a pop in volatility. You might get one more jump up, and then we see some kind of 30-minute signal, right? And then this is where you can be pretty confident if you see a divergence like this. And then you say that 2 hour is going to rotate around and I'm going to be just fine. Kashkari may say, yes, Kashkari in 15 minutes. Be patient. Be patient. No. I think you be patient. And look for another job in the meantime as well, right? Look for another job in the meantime as well. I know that's something that freaking old people are going to tell you, but I'm like that too. If you didn't know AD, I am still someone that works another job. I still work with a startup. I still work on, well, I make little bits on YouTube. I just started this, so I make little bits on YouTube. Okay, cool. I make most of my money trading, but it took me a long time to get there. And I want to tell you this, AD, I'll make you feel a lot better. I'll make you feel a lot better. Okay, so my Zillow trade should make you feel better. I lost pretty much all my money when I was 20 years old on a Zillow trade. All right, it's happened to everyone. It's perfectly fine. And then also, the other thing I want to talk about was that video I put out yesterday where you saw the guy who dropped the pizza, he lost his job, and then he lost his home, and then he lost his car. All of those things actually happened to me back in 2020. So right before COVID hit, I had my own business. It was an app that showed you restaurant specials near you, and I was starting to grow it, and it was doing really well. And then COVID hit, and I lost everything, literally everything. I went to pretty much a value of 0. I lost all the equity that I had. All the capital that I had was gone because I put it all into my business. I lost my home. I had to move into my parents' house in 2020. So I had to move back into my parents' house when I was 29 years old, maybe. And I had to start from nothing. And look where I'm at now. So if things go well or unwell for you, if you're able to make money back, I want you to send me an email regardless. And I'm going to work with you. No, I'm not going to charge you anything. I'm going to work with you so you can learn a little bit, not to become a trader. Okay? Because if you want to become a trader later on, I think you need to learn how to invest and not do options. Because with $60,000, you can just buy SQQQ when you're seeing good signals, and you can make like 10% a month. You can then turn that around and buy Apple when you see good signals, and you can make 10% that month. That's how I used to do things. And I only had $10,000. I built that to 20. Then I built that to making about $3,000 to $6,000 a month. And then I started to just do options because I didn't want to risk my big lump sum. So I have a lot of money in TLT, but I did options just to be like, oh, now I can only risk like $10,000 every month. How do we know when the short squeeze is done? When the daily MACD curls back over. But yeah, send me an email regardless. lucas.s.hansen@gmail.com. Just tell me that it's you, and I will work with you. We'll email back and forth, and I'll show you good trade setups, and I want you to just look for those setups. And then I'll mainly teach you about how to invest, especially if you come out with $30,000. If you come out with $20,000, it's not the end of the world. Okay? Remember, I was at $20,000. So you can do it. Okay. Sorry about that, AD. Hold tight. All right? We're going to pay attention to a lot of signals in this area. The Qs are hitting that range. I think you're going to be fine. But I'm not going to charge you anything for that. I don't want you to lose $30,000 and then me trample on you because you're vulnerable or something and then take $200 from you or $500. No, I'll email you back and forth at least to try to help you out a little bit. Asking why there's no stop in place. That's very true. And I don't know if you were subscribed at that time either, AD. I'm pretty sure you were. Hey, Mike Bagger. Thank you for selling that. You're amazing. I'll hold for now and email you. Can you send me your email on here? Yeah, just yeah, it's I don't have it, so I can chat in there right now. That's my email. Please, no one else email me. I want to focus on AD. Please, please, no one else email me. I just really want to focus on AD for a moment here. lucas.s.hansen@gmail.com. Sorry if you need to pause it. I just deleted it. Go back and pause it. Sorry. Like $8 loss from the $50 on AMC. Let's see what AMC is doing. By the way, the resistance is coming in. The signal I want to pay attention to is, well, technically I still have a 30-minute. Do I have a 2-hour divergence? Not really on the RSI, but I do have a little one here on the MACD. Now I have that divergence at the same time the volatility is trying to create some kind of divergence. So maybe this is a good time to take that hedge. And then if that starts to prove, I can turn that into a full short position. That's how I would look at it. Is the dollar climbing up? Not necessarily yet. Not necessarily yet, so we have to be a little bit patient there. Let's go look at AMC for a brief moment. All right, we're seeing some kind of bounce. Let's see. We need the 15-minute to curl up and go positive. As of right now, that looks like flagging. The 5-minute getting close to the center line. Maybe a 5-minute divergence pops up. The buy and sell indicator I use, you can type this up here, SMA 950, 180, EMA 20, and then it'll pop up. Don't read into the buy and sell. It's much more powerful as a trader to find those 5 reasons to take a trade. This is lagging behind a lot of the time. So this right here crossed on the MACD right here, and the buy signal tells you to buy right here. But technically, if you're just like swing trading or swing trading to the downside here, actually, well, you'd see a crossing of these 2 moving averages. Like if you're swing trading, it's a 5-minute, take it with a grain of salt. But 5-minute, below the 200, crosses down like this, then you see that cross down. It's a lagging thing, so you really want to have those reasons to take a trade. But AMC, it looks like some kind of, you do have 5-minute divergence down here. You do have 5-minute divergence. Let's zoom in on this RSI. You just don't have that on the RSI. You have it right here, but not necessarily on the RSI. And actually, you don't have it right there, really. It's between these two lows. So 5-minute curling up, you need this to go positive. As of right now, this looks like we're going to test this level. 437. It does look like that as of right now. The reason I'm talking about AMC negatively, and I'm in this trade to the upside, I'm not, trying to say this has to crash down. I want it to stay up so billionaires can suffer a little bit because they're trying to short a stock into the ground, and now they're just trying to make retail traders lose more money. What I want to see, this would be a great signal, a 5-minute divergence. That will really convince me. If we can complete that and go positive, the 15 minutes going to curl up. But overall, if you just want to be patient, if this 15-minute curls up at any time, the volatility for this is so high that that momentum can really take over, right? So GME, let's see if this is doing anything. What does it look like? Okay, looks like that. Looks like it hasn't crossed up yet. 5-minute looks like what? It's moving sideways, getting up towards the center line. So another drop could be coming for GameStop. I don't think you really don't want to lose this 27.23, so maybe that's where we hold up 27.23. God bless you and your family. Thank you so much for that, Tammy. We really appreciate that. We're going through a big move, and my wife, her wrist is killing her right now. It is just like she can't even grip things because she's just always doing something. She's very active, like with working around the house and cooking and cleaning, and we're obviously taking care of the baby. So she really needs some good vibes right now. Tesla, please. We can look at Apple first, and then we'll look at Tesla. They're right in a row. So Apple here, what do we pay attention to? The 15-minute crossing. Is that going to cross? That's going to be a little bit of a confirmation. Now, you have to be weary about this. You have to say, I have to be willing to scale in. You don't necessarily want to say, by Friday, this has to crash down. No, this is one of my 2-week out plays, I would say. 2-week out play here. Maybe even a month because of how the 2 hours pretty overbought. But pretty much you want to treat this as a decent play if this can confirm. If that confirms out here, you have a good shot that's going to rotate down. Pay attention to a 30-minute crossing. And then after that, you just want to pay attention to how you could get screwed out of a trade, right? You don't want that 15-minute rolling back up. So in this area, you have to be weary. It's a squeeze environment. So we could just do this, and then it pops up one more time very lightly, and then we get a triple divergence. So this would be like a scale in, scale in. Now we're close to that center line, and I can say, all right, triple divergence is there. If it's on the MACD and RSI at the same time, I can be confident with that. That's how I look at things. All right, Tesla. I left a circle there. Tesla, the 15-minute, looks like it wants to curl up, but how could, if I think this is going to go up, how could I get screwed? Well, a 5-minute. And the 5-minute trend's negative, and it's right by the center line. We just crossed through. So what could you say? Well, if the MACD is going to cross down, the RSI already did. The MACD, if that's going to cross down into negative territory, what could happen? Well, test the lows, then go make a new one. Really leaning towards this low right here. Really, actually, I'm going to say gap fill. Gap fill at 171.90. Looks pretty good. But as Apple looks like some extreme weaknesses in, maybe we see this, and then we get a divergence here. That could cause the 15-minute to actually rotate back up. So these are the things I would be paying attention to for Tesla as of right now. I have to talk negatively about it because it's in negative territory. If that changes, right? If that really sees a rapid move up and this really goes positive, I'll change my thinking. Should have played SMCI getting in on the wrong days. That's okay. Sending good vibes your way. You deserve it. What you put out in the universe, you get back. Thank you so much. And we're really seeing that lately with honestly, the super nice people that do come into this channel. I see that on a daily basis. So we're going to break down a few things here. What are we noticing? Okay, we're in a squeeze, right? We're squeezing the crap out of this thing. And so you want to be cautious taking any kind of shorts. Let's go look at that PCC. Still at 0.95. So it's the calls are trickling in right when they're not supposed to trickle in, they're trickling in. So this is where a pullback can happen. And why am I saying a pullback could happen here? Remember, first of all, about the SPY, we'll talk about why pullback's happening here. And the SPY, it's coming in a little bit lower because the Qs are testing their weekly expected move, and those tech stocks might experience a pullback with some profit taking. And that's how you have to treat this at this point. This is a short squeeze. It's not really based on terrible news. So if this is going to be some kind of pullback, we are in positive context. Okay, so even on the 15-minute, if that curls down to the center line, curls back up, the next big move can come, and then maybe you do this, and you end up like this by the end of the week, and actually next week we pull back. Okay, so this could just be a profit-taking move that then ends up going higher, or maybe a double top, or anything like that. If it reverses down, you're just going to see it act more dramatically and move your stop down with it. But the reason you're probably running into some resistance is we're knocking on the door. This is as high as we're supposed to go for the whole week. And look at those retests. Look at those retests. Those look great. 15-minute, if that can curl down. Well, one thing is we can use the monthly as support now. So we can use the monthly as support. If this is going to be a brief pullback and then we just head higher, okay, I want to pay attention to any time this curls up on the MACD. We have to talk positively about this because it's in positive territory, okay? So I want you to be very aware of that. Okay, the cues. Now, it would say by the end of the month, though, we could top out, right? By the end of the month, we're going to end down here. So if we do something like this and then we get bad data, we'll pay attention to 30-minute divergences and things like that going forward. AD, stay strong. Luke is amazing and is always willing to help. Wish you all the best. Exactly. Can you explain the PCC? It's going below 1, so that means more calls are coming in. Yes. But that is initially, that is actually a bullish signal. You really want to see like a bunch of calls coming in, but as people take profit here, that's why I think another upward move is possible to get those calls really in there. And even on a 5-minute, that's possible, right? You see how we're moving sideways? So don't think that it has to stop here. We still have another daily expected move right here. A 15-minute hasn't crossed over. The 5 has. If this can beat down just a little more or just move sideways longer, get this MACD down here, get this RSI not oversold anymore, or overbought anymore, boom, we just see one rapid move up. And then this would be a good reversal signal for today if that happened. And then tomorrow, if it goes into tomorrow, we get some new daily ranges. So we'll pay attention to that. Apple, we just talked about this a little bit. You have to be willing to be patient for the 15-minute to fully cross down into cross down. You're still in positive context though. So if the 15-minute crosses down, you can see that come up and double top. You can see it actually just violate that and go higher. So right now, am I seeing a 5-minute reversal signal? Not necessarily. No, and we're seeing that trickle up. So now we can retest this level. If we cross up, we might go a little bit higher, right? But pay attention, that might fade quickly because people might take a bunch of calls with that breakout and then it just goes the wrong way on them. Tesla, this here, 5-minute negative territory after this big drop. Remember, the weekly expected move was in this area. So this was really telling me, hey, I need to be very cautious with Tesla. It's coming out of it very early on a Tuesday. Now it came out of it early on a Wednesday. And so therefore I can say, hey, 68% chance to drop. We got little divergences. Well, I would pretty much consider it divergence, but right here tells you downside is very likely. So if the 5-minute can rotate down, that would mean there's more selling to come. If this bases out and goes positive, we have to switch our thinking a little bit here. Amazon, this could cross down in negative territory too. So see how Amazon did it? It went positive, but it still has potential to cross back down. You just need that confirmation. Amazon had some great trade setups up here. You had triple divergence on the MACD. Now what do you have down here? We have a divergence on the 30-minute. What does that like to do? Likes to rotate up the 2-hour. Likes to rotate up the 2-hour. Where's the 2-hour right now? Don't think we can't keep squeezing. The 2 hours rotated up. If this thing pushes through this high, you're most likely crossing to the upside. And what does that mean? Well, we could test the high, go make a new one. But that 2-hour divergence in the near future is where I'm going to be talking about that pullback. NVIDIA, this thing bursting to the upside. You have divergence on the MACD here, not on the RSI at the same time. Still potential to curl down from here. Still potential. As we are going up towards that weekly expected move. We just came just shy of it. But is that 15-minute very overbought? Yes, it is. This is going to lead me to believe another higher low is coming, first of all. So what would I expect here? Some kind of 15-minute pullback, right? Some kind of little 15-minute pullback, and then that scoops back up for the next move. And then maybe a 15-minute divergence is more of a pullback to come. We'll pay attention to that, but I just want to show you guys how the chart here is in positive context. So if you curl down to the center line, curl up anytime, positivity is going to continue. I'm going to talk positively about these stocks until I actually see some very good signals going negative, okay? Now, AMD, this one here, similar story. A lot of these things we want to pay, we're squeezing. So what could happen from here? Well, we could be making some kind of cup. Maybe we get a handle and then we head higher. And then we'll pay attention to volatility as well. Meta looks like it needs to pull back as well. What's it doing? It's kind of completing a cup in this. What did it do over here? Big run up, good pullback. If I scaled into this correctly, I would have made 100%. I didn't. I like broke even after this, and still kicking myself on that one. But that's okay. It's more like I'm more mad at myself for being stupid and not watching the stock around this area because I got busy. The 15-minute, the difference here, it's a little bit closer to the center line, but still, you just want to pay attention. This could be brief. We could do something like this and then see that breakout. That's what I'm really paying attention to for Meta. And the 2 hour here, curling down. If that curls up at any time, you're going to see the next big move from Meta, in my opinion. Microsoft 2 hour, that thing's getting pretty cooked. So maybe I want to go into a 30-minute. Do I see any signals here? Well, I'm really close to the center line. I still have a divergence across the way. Let's look at an hourly. I think the hourly looks cleaner. So if that hourly can rotate over, we might get a bigger pullback right now. We might get a bigger pullback right now on the hourly scale. But pretty much you got to say 30-minute, anytime this curls up positive territory, or 15-minute, anytime that curls up into positive. This is a very strong move. So 15-minute, anytime this wants to curl up into positive territory, we could see another move higher. Okay, we could see another move higher. Maybe I need to look at, am I at a weekly expected move or something like that? Where the heck is Microsoft? I'm outside of my monthly right now. We're seeing some weakness come in. 5-minute scale. But we're pretty much right in the middle of the range. Yeah, pretty much right in the middle of the range. So no real direction, but you are outside of the monthly expected move top side. So dropping down is what makes the most sense for me. Or the end of the month. 68% chance. 32% chance you see something crazy. So make sure to play the signals. Don't just take that as your reason. What are we seeing here for Google? 15-minute triple divergence, right? You have a divergence between this point. You have a multiple point divergence on the MACD, and you have a triple divergence across the way. Kind of flat, though. So this could just be a pullback. We still want to pay attention to. If I take downside, how could I get screwed? A retest, and then that just curls back up, right? This gets close to the center line, even cuts it a little, and then curls back up. So we're paying attention to a lot, and we're going to have to keep talking about things going forward, seeing if things are actually going into negative territory and reversing on these shorter time frames. Netflix giving you a nice 15-minute divergence right here. This is a nice 15-minute divergence right here. So you're pretty much stuck. You're kind of stuck in this range. Okay, so 15-minute divergence says weakness is coming. Can we take out this low and drop lower? And then I can turn up the time frames a little bit and say, maybe this 2 hour is actually going to fully back off towards that center line. And then the next big move is coming later on in these areas down here. So the problem is not a lot of support. So if we wanted to, we can gravitate all the way back down to 577 before we see that bounce on the 2 hour. I just want you to be aware of that. But you're kind of stuck in a range. You have 15-minute divergence right now. Those haven't really been working out for dramatic pullbacks for Netflix. And you're moving sideways. So anytime this 30-minute just wants to curl back up, I know you see the divergences, but I would say hourly maybe. Yeah, if the hourly can curl back up and confirm by breaking out of that range, that would tell me, hey, we're probably going to retest up in these areas. What was the direction of this? I like this buying direction. So we're going to use that as a way. 642 might be a decent target there if we see an upside move. SMCI, this is seeing a breakout, right? Seeing a breakout. So what could we get for SMCI right now? A 15-minute pullback. And you need to be on your toes, right? Things can happen very quickly. This one actually confirmed on the 15-minute down. Might have convinced someone like, oh, CPI has to be bad. But as you can see, we just squeeze up. The next bar, you should not be taking any kind of downside. Even though you're getting overbought, you're probably praying this thing turns around and you're in a squeeze. And you should have looked at the PCC and been like, okay, everyone's trying to short this, so I see it's just going to squeeze. Now let's just talk about volatility real quick. Actually, HYG, are you giving up the move? HYG giving up the move, so good sign we're going to get a pullback. AD can be a little bit patient on that. What am I seeing now for the 15, or let's do a 30-minute. I don't really like 15-minute for this. 30-minute, if this can rotate up and actually go positive, then you could say, hey, now volatility's back. I'd really be paying attention to this 2 hour over the next week. Over the next week, if this 2 hour dips down or even turns around right now, I would consider that almost a divergence there. I really would. You're right by the center line. If that turns up, you might get a bigger pullback. And then you have to see if the data next week, if FOMC next week, if GDP next week, all those things you have to pay attention to. We have a lot of rocks in our stream. let's keep trading like water. But it looks like volatility can scale up at any time. It's really, really low. You now have the fear greed index in a greed setting. Usually I like for the extreme greed to come in at a reading of at least 78, 77, 78 before I talk about like, oh yeah, we're really, really seeing extreme bullishness, extreme greed. So we could react all the way down to 1212, see some kind of push in the market. And that's why we need to pay attention to those 15 minutes curling back up on all those charts. I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching with me today. I really do appreciate it. I really do. All I'm trying to do is be helpful here. Let's look at the 15-minute for Apple. I'm going to leave you guys on this for a moment. But I just really appreciate you guys showing up every day. People are encouraging in the chat when someone takes a loss. No one's laughing at them. I mean, I tuned into one guy's live stream and someone talked about a loss, and a lot of their viewers were telling him to, not do a good thing to himself. I'll put it that way. Not do a good thing to himself. And I am very, very happy that we don't have those types of people. And if you are one of those types of people that kind of, takes glory in other people's suffering, I highly encourage you to try to change your ways a little bit, put some positivity out in the world. There's too much negativity. We get enough of negativity with social media. We really need some positivity. And so therefore, that's why I am part of this. That's why I really like doing this channel, is half the reason I really like showing up all day. Literally, like probably 90% of the reason I like showing up every day is because the same people come in, the same people are nice, the same people are dedicated to learning, and then that encourages more people to be nice. That encourages more people to want to learn more. And when you make a mistake, this community is very, very good at being like, hey man, head up high, learn from it, and I really, really do enjoy that. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today's live stream, and I hope you guys have a great day. All right, I got to get to packing. I'll see you guys later on YouTube. Peace out.